Today you're going to get the truth, the whole truth. Nothing that I'm about to say in this show can be disproven. Everything that I'm going to say in this show can be proven. Everything. The fact that you were scammed, you were bamboozled by President Trump into believing what he said originally about how he was going to fix the world in the beginning. Remember, listen to me, listen very carefully to me. The first week that we had that terrible outbreak of the COV, President Trump came on assuring everybody that he had a plan. And his plan was for a one-time vaccination that would end any possibility of getting the COV. He said that. It's recorded. There are thousands of videos where your wonderful President Trump said that. 2 weeks later, he went from one vaccination is going to clear up the COV to one vaccination program. It's all the same, except it's not one vaccination. Now it's one vaccination program, which I'm sure he believed. So, but he was told this information by the CDC. So, was it true? That's the question. Was it true? Was it true that President Trump had the cure? Even though he said he did, and I believe him, of course, but he did not. So that's one lie. It's the number one lie in the world, in the history of mankind, because it took more money and more wealth away from the middle class than any other thing in history. He shut down the world for 2.5 years. So, are you getting the truth from government? That's my question. The answer, of course, is only if you think it's the truth. Now we're going to go on. That is all true, what I said. It's all provable. It's all provable. He went from a one-time vaccination to a one-time vaccination program. If you know, remember the TV Guide, the program, TV Guide program? It was all the programs that ever existed, Twilight Zone, Space Cadet, whatever. It was all the programs on television for that week. It was a program guide. So Trump went from a single vaccination to a program, which means there's no end to it. And so far, there has been no end to it. So you have been lied to by your people that believe Trump was some sort of the whole truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth from Bantai and Brawler. Salamat, thank you. And that man is one of the few that knows the truth because he has the knowledge. He's followed politics. He has the understanding of how the world works from a perspective that most of you could not comprehend. Nor would I ever reveal that perspective, but it's far superior than mine, although I followed these conspiracy theories since 2009, really seriously, since 2001 with the lies that they told us that they were going to shut the borders down in 2001. It's 22 years later, and the borders are wide open. Another lie. So let's get into the meat and the heart of this matter. We're going to talk about. We'll talk more about Mr. Trump. He's a total fraud. Whatever he did, and he did a lot of beneficial stuff, He took it all away in one fell swoop. He reduced the unemployment for the black population down to pre-1970s numbers. Same thing for the Spanish community. And then he destroyed the world economy and shut the world down and usurped, stole, confiscated how much? 30, 40, 50% of the middle class wealth? How much money did people that lost their business? They had a donut business. Right. One-time amnesty, and that Italian brawler. He just mentioned one-time amnesty during the Reagan administration. Reagan announced that if you come forward and admit that you came into the country illegally, that there was going to be an amnesty program that would exonerate you from any wrongdoing. But that was not the first time. President Johnson did that back in the 70s or 60s. He also had an amnesty program. So Reagan allowed, I don't remember the exact number, but it was in the millions of people to come into the country totally legal. So all you had to do was go sign up that you were an illegal alien, and that was it. That solved the problem forever, as Italian brawler said. Solved the problem. No more. There are no more illegals. It was a scam. And now, who's in an uproar about the amnesty programs? The black and Hispanic communities, because the people coming in from Guatemala, they're happy to work for $5 an hour, and they have 15, 18 people in a big apartment or a small apartment, and if you have 15 people making $5 an hour, that's $75 an hour, 10 hours a day, that's $750 a day. It easily pays for the apartment and more money for more people to come into the country. You have been scammed by every politician that has ever breathed into a microphone. Now you're getting scammed with the lockdown, that it took 30, 40% of the wealth of the middle class away from us. Everybody spent 20 or 30 or 40% of their you have a store. You pay $5,000 a month rent. It's not unheard of. You make donuts, and your store's closed down. Well, you still pay that $5,000 a month. You still have to pay insurance on the store. They've been screwing everybody with insurance, and yes, I saw that video. It's playing on Aloe, the great Aloe de Winter, the master of bucket. It's playing on Aloe de Winter's channel. It's playing on Illuminati's channel, and it's playing on Roberto's channel, and I believe Illuminati has the whole video up. It's a pretty good video if you guys haven't seen it. It's an interesting video, and there was a fella named Jay Dow who posted Philippines law in regards to what was shown on the video. But we won't go into that any further than that. I'm going to go back to my conspiracy theory. That's not a conspiracy. That's an outright breach of the Philippines law. So you can, if you want to post the name of the channels that have it up there, you're welcome to do that. But I'm going to go back to, we have been lied to again. Now, what is it that everybody's making fun of the Michael Fazio? The flat Earth, right? You know what? Nobody in the history of this world has ever proven that the Earth is round. And I'm going to go over how you can prove it, that it's not round. It's flat, it's stationary, it does not move. We are not spinning through space at 1,038 miles an hour. We're not traveling around the sun at 500,000 miles an hour, and we're not moving through the universe at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It's fictitious. Another thing that's fictitious is there is no such thing as a vacuum in space. It doesn't exist. You cannot have a vacuum. This is just basic physics. This isn't complex scientific calculations to the 100th digit. You cannot have a vacuum without having a non-permeable barrier like a can or a glass jar or a piece of plastic between one side of a pressured volume and pressure and another side with no pressure and no volume, aka a vacuum in space. It can't happen. And yet they lie about that. Look, I'm going to say it bluntly. There is no such thing as a vacuum in space. So if they're lying about that, what else are they lying about? I have followed this stuff for now 15 years on the actual reading of the science of the conspiracy theories. But before that, when I started writing my book back in 2001, I followed this stuff since the 70s. You people have no idea how you've been lied to. You people have no idea how you've been fooled. And what they're doing, you know that NASA collects $53 million a day from the American taxpayer, which is good because they create a lot of stuff. But it's not for what you think it is. They build all those rockets. I'll do the rocket first. I'll do the space shuttle first. The space shuttle never went into space, ever. It never went into space. No astronauts went into high Earth orbit. None. Zero. Never happened. So, somebody remind me to go back to that in a minute. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, or Grasso, whatever his name is, and Joe Rogan, it's in the title, are government shills. You know that Joe Rogan, he makes, on average, almost immediately $75,000 per podcast. But did you know that 10 years ago, when he first started his show, he was convinced 100% that we never went to the moon? Never. He said it. He even said it in yesterday's podcast that I recorded. He said he didn't believe we went to the moon because it was too much technology, and it all worked on day one. And then it worked 11 more times, consistently. He said the law of averages for something like that is impossible. That's what he said 8 or 10 years ago. Now, his new Joe Rogan, this is Joe Rogan, this lying government shill, in my opinion. Now he says, well, I used to think we didn't go to the moon, but now I understand bullshit. Now I understand that I don't have enough knowledge to make a decision. So he's had 8 years to talk to the most famous people in the world on this topic, and he's not come to a conclusion, yay or nay, whether we went to the moon or not. He works for the United States government. He's a shill. Neil deGrasse Tyson, whatever his name is. He works for the government. They work for the government. They do what the government says for them to do. It's not complicated. Now I'm going to go back to the space shuttle fraud. The fraud of the fact that they said that we send up a space shuttle into space. I can't make you understand what I saw in real life, but I saw the space shuttle not go into space. Okay? When I lived in Key Largo, and from 1993, well, I lived in the Keys, but 1995 I lived in Key Largo onward. When I bought my house in 1999, on June 2nd of 1999, I had a balcony in the back of the house, and my balcony faced the Atlantic Ocean. If you remember, they were still sending space shuttles up and rockets. So I don't normally watch television, and I don't own a TV at the time or now, but I watched it on the internet, the space shuttle launch. And it at Cape Canaveral, and everything went fine with the rockets, and the rocket went up, and then it does what they call a reverse rollover, where it's going up, but then it rolls over on its back and flips over upside down, supposedly for some reason. No one knows what the reason is. No one ever described what the reason was. They say what it is, but it doesn't make any sense from a physics point of view. It makes no sense. So the spaceship goes up, it rolls over, and then it goes west, because Cape Canaveral would be east. And it goes west. And when it went past my house, when the space shuttle went up, off, now I saw this on the internet. The space shuttle comes up, it rolls over on its back, and then it goes horizontal, parallel to the horizon of the flat Earth. Key Largo is 600 miles as the crow flies. 600 miles away, I went out to my balcony, not to watch the space shuttle, because I never believed you could see it. It's supposed to be going up in the air and into orbit, but no, it didn't do that. So I'm standing on my balcony. I just went outside. The launch was over. I went outside to sit on my balcony, and I see, it was daytime. I see a huge white smoke flume, F-L-U-M-E, flume coming out of the back of the space shuttle. It was the space shuttle on a horizontal flight path, or plane. And it went, you could see it from 20 miles to the east. You could see it. It was a huge flume of white smoke. And then it went past my house. Couldn't hear it yet. Because it took about 20 seconds for the sound to get to me. So 20 seconds would be 20 times 700 miles an hour. So it was about 10 times, it would be 756. It was about 20-second delay in sound. And when it went by me, when it went at about a 20-25 degree angle, then you could hear the roar of the engines of the space shuttle, but the roar was coming from the east, about 20 miles away. So basically, you didn't hear the sound till after the space shuttle passed my house. But as far as you could follow it in the daytime, it just kept going parallel. So on the internet, people asked, why is it going parallel? Why is it, following? I'm not the only person that saw it. Millions and millions of people saw it past Key West. So it not only traveled 600 miles to my house, but it went another 100 miles past Key West, and then it disappeared out into the Atlantic Ocean. Well, NASA, hey Scott, NASA said, let me get with you in just a minute. I see a question. NASA said, in answer to the people on the internet, that it had to go that way because that's where it was going to exit into space. So they used up 700 miles of rocket fuel. They said it needed to get up to speed, but the speed never changed. It was proven at the time. The speed of the shuttle from the time it moved past about the 100-mile denominator, to the time it passed Key West never changed. So it didn't have to get up to speed. It was already at speed at 100 miles. It didn't go up because they don't go up. They land in the ocean somewhere. You have been defrauded of your money. You have been bamboozled, scammed by NASA. Now, this is not the only time. There was one at night, then you could see a reddish flame, and you could hear it, but you couldn't see the smoke because it was at night. But you could see the flame, the thrust. So this, I saw it twice. Now, I don't know how many times they launched from before they stopped launching, but I saw it twice. That's a fraud. They never went into space because there is no space. Now, I'm going to go look at Scott's comment. Okay, let's go to Scott's comment because Scott has priority. And then we're going to give, I'm going to post, now that I have some people here, I'm going to post the link. It's in the description box. I'm going to post the link to John Blaze's channel. He came up with a gimmick. Man, he came up with a gimmick. I'm so jealous of John Blaze. He's my freaking hero, that guy. He really is. He came up with a gimmick. I'm going to give you the link for that in a minute. Nobody's ever done it before, and anybody that does it after can only thank the great John Blaze for the gimmick that he came up with. So it's beyond the pale. I'm going to give you the link to his page and two links. One is for his homepage and one is for his short videos. He has a gimmick that no one on YouTube will ever equal. Nobody, ever. And it'll never happen again. And he created it from his own wealth of knowledge in his brain. It's such a unique idea. It made me jealous. When he did his first post, I'm going, oh man, why didn't I think of that? John Blaze is pure genius. But if you knew John Blaze, you'd know that that's factual. That's not hypothetical. So let me get over to Scott's comments on the page, and then we're going to go to, I'm going to post John Blaze.
I saw a lot of people talking on the social.
I'm going to post John Blaze's information, and we're going to go to the comments. I've neglected the comments until now, but you got to understand that John Blaze has to be one of the smartest people on YouTube. Forget about in the Philippine genre. Okay, I'm going to move past the Philippine genre. John Blaze is one of the smartest people, along with Bentayan Brawler and a few others, a host of others, that have ever graced the pages of YouTube. You have no idea why I say that, and I will never reveal why I say it. Let's go over here. Bentayan Brawler. One time during the Reagan era, he did that. Bentayan Brawler remembers. He gave amnesty, and each person he gave amnesty, however many millions it was, cost the taxpayer approximately $1 million a year to bring them into the country, feed them, house them, give them water and electric, school them, dental, medical. They all had medical, dental plans from day one. They all got a driver's license. They all had an apartment. Their water bill, their electric bill was paid, and they gave them $13,000 cash money for each person that came into the United States illegally. From the Cuban flotilla, they got $13,000 and all those benefits, and Reagan gave approximately the same amount to millions of migrants from Mexico, Guatemala, and wherever, British to Honduras. Yeah, Honduras. Reagan gave millions and millions amnesty, and then in the flotilla that came over in the 90s from Cuba, they got 100% amnesty, plus housing, plus dental, plus medical, plus they got a $13,000 check in two parts. One when they were released into the public, and then another one 6 months later. The government, United States government, also bought the Cubans furniture, dishwashers, refrigerators, stoves, whatever they needed to furnish an apartment. They just got it. You have no idea how we're being scammed for taxes. Okay, now, Pinoy Grandpa says, have you seen the video of someone pulling a knife and threatening a Filipina? Well, we don't know that he was threatening the Filipina because the sound was off. You don't know that. You really can't say that. I'm going to leave it go with the notation that there was no way you can prove he was threatening anybody because you couldn't hear it. So unless you, Pinoy Grandpa, unless you have what it takes to go to a police station in Mobile and file a complaint, find the person that was in the video, the people that were in the videos. Don't say it again on my channel. But I'll leave it there because it's a possibility. But it's not a fact. Just know that it's not a fact. I need to cut my ribeye. John Blaze, we're going to talk about John Blaze in a minute. A Chinaman on the right nostril? Really? Wow. A Chinaman. Wow. That ought to give him something to talk about. You know what that was, Scott? That was tissue paper. I use toilet paper to wipe my mouth when I'm done eating. That was probably a piece of toilet paper, not a Chinaman. It wasn't wet. But thanks, Scott. Now, let's go get John Blaze's information off of here. Okay. Ooh. How can I do that? I have to go to my home page. Yeah, the barangay in the Philippines. They don't even give Filipinos a good retirement. They don't give, they have retirement if you pay into Social Security here. Let's get the John Blaze, the greatest concept ever portrayed on YouTube. John Blaze created it this week, 3 days ago. It's going to go over like helium-filled balloons. So let's go back to my... This is an amazing thing that John Blaze did. And it's going to be... Oh, where is that? It's going to be in the... it's going to be in the comments section of my video for sure. Okay, I have trouble remembering where I put stuff. Okay, in the notes. Okay, so here we go. Thanks for letting me know. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10. Okay, I could do that. I had to remove some characters to post this link. So if you're not a member of the John Blaze community, you're going to want to go there and see his latest posts. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to reveal what it is that he has done. He has done something. I am sure there are going to be 1,000 more videos in reverence to the great John Blaze. In reverence to his idea. He created that idea. Not a lot of people with ideas make me jealous, but that made me jealous. John Blaze. I'm gonna give John Blaze a standing ovation because I'm about to get into the biggest scam that I'm ever gonna pull on YouTube. And I thought I was hot stuff when I thought about this the other day, but John Blaze buries me in comparison. So let me stand up and I'll give you a hint of Gedanka, an idea of what my next scam. My next scam is for 75,000 pesos. I want you I want you, the listening audience, to donate 75,000 pesos so I can buy a Chinook helicopter drone, which is an experimental helicopter drone. That's why it's so expensive. It's $1,500. And this is a CH47 Chinook helicopter. It's in the thumbnail. It has from propeller tip to propeller tip, it's 100 foot. The one I'm buying is, I think it's 1:35 scale. However, I'll put the description of what a Chinook helicopter is. It was created in 1961. It's still in use now. And it's the most unbelievable helicopter that the services have ever used. It's a heavy lift helicopter, lifts up 20,000 pounds workload, could lift up more. It's 99 feet from the one end of the propellers to the other. It holds 50 troops, fully loaded troops with ammunition and reserves. And it's an amazing helicopter. And they're making one in an experimental drone model that I want to buy. And I need 75,000 pesos from you, the listening audience. I'm not asking you for money for alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes. I'm not asking you for money for cigarettes. I don't eat ribeye steaks. I don't eat filet mignon. I want a drone. And I want you to buy me this drone. You. It's your responsibility to buy me this drone, like you feel responsible to buy other people cigarettes and booze, which is a total waste of money. With this drone, I will do more drone videos now that it's stopped raining, and you will be able to come fly with me, come fly away to the moon with me, come fly away. Remember that movie, Fly Me to the Moon, where they sung that song? They shot that guy up in a rocket. That's what I want you to do. I want you guys, I don't want to go drinking with you. I don't want to smoke cigarettes with you. I don't want to eat ribeye steaks with you. I don't want to eat filet mignon. I want you to come fly with me. Come fly with me. Send me your hard-earned dollars and pesos, and I will go flying with you. Send me your money, don't be cheap. You, don't be cheap. You, sounds like chewing. Don't be a cheap chewer. You need to send me money for my Chinook 47 helicopter, experimental, and then you can come fly with me. So now, in John Blaze, I put the link up for his channel. It's going to be in the thing. It's got to be the most unique series of videos. And here's the best part about the John Blaze series of videos. It can't have an end. You cannot run out of ideas for this. I talked to John. He's been making shorts all day yesterday, all day today. Even if John lives another 50 years, he cannot run out of ideas for his short video. It's not possible. That's how unique the idea is. I'm sure a lot of us are going to follow suit with that, and we are going to follow suit with that. But you'll also have to give credit to the great John Blaze, because he created a series of shorts and an endless array of humor for the rest of our natural lives. Nobody, not the bang apart. The flush a toilet was a phenom back in 2016, where I made about $5,000 to flush a toilet. The pot has, on the high end, maybe the pot has made me $20,000. Nothing compared to the possibility that the John Blaze, the great John Blaze, here there's no end to what the possibilities are, because there's no end to the possibilities of what the possibilities are for John Blaze's new shorts. And once he becomes monetized, you guys got to subscribe to his channel. If you want to post a comment on his channel, you have to be subscribed. And if you're not in it, you can't win it. That's right, baby. John Blaze is the greatest creator of a YouTube blogging series since the beginning of YouTube. Because there can be no end. There's no end to the possibility. John Blaze, he blazed a new trail in the YouTube Shorts community. And he has that dry sense of humor that just goes along with what he created. You guys, I'm going to post it again. I don't know where John Blaze is. Okay, he's here now. Oh, he's here now. Brainwave. All right, so I gotta take off my number 42 hat. 42, you remember the movie 42, right? You remember what the number 42 meant, yeah? 42. You remember? Who remembers what 42 means? Post it on my channel. I watched that movie with my dad. It was A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, if I remember the name correct. Had to be the greatest, one of the greatest movies I ever saw with my dad. And it's all theoretical, but it's funny as all get out. My dad and I were in a movie theater in Marathon Key in the Florida Keys. 1995. I think he came and stayed with me in 95. No. It could have been 2000. He stayed with me in 95. He stayed with me in 97. But I think that movie came out in 2001. No, couldn't have been 2001 because I had my Cobra in 2001. I used my dad's Ford Taurus. Pretty fast car. I made it home from Miami City, where the movie... no, that was a different movie. I made it home from Marathon to Key Largo that's 50 miles. I made it home in 26 minutes. 26 minutes. I made it home from Sawgrass Expressway, which was 110 miles with my Cobra, in 56 minutes with my Cobra. Racing an SVT Lightning pickup truck. I raced them all the way from Sawgrass Expressway. I think it was exit 10 on the Sawgrass. I raced them home. I made it home from Fort Lauderdale to... I parked the car in front of my house in 56 minutes. I called up my friend James Newton. I said, James, I'm home. He goes, that's not possible. I said, yeah, I'm home. But my dad and I, we went to watch the movie A Hitchhiker's Guide in the Galaxy, and he loved it. And I made it home in 26 minutes, 50 miles, at over 100 plus miles an hour the whole trip. And my dad, he didn't care. He just sat back. He goes, he didn't say a word. And the way I got there into the driver's seat, my dad blew a stop sign in Marathon. He couldn't see at night. He missed the stop sign altogether. I said, oh, whoa, Dad, I'm driving. So I drove, and I said, are you okay with this? He goes, my dad was a master captain, tugboat captain his whole life. If you're on the boat, I'm on the boat. We're all going to die if you make a mistake. So I said, are you okay with me driving like this? He goes, you're driving. We're both going to the same place if you screw up. And he just laughed. So 26 minutes, 50 miles, 51 miles actually. So I remember the movie. What does 42 mean? Tell me what 42 means and I'll bang a pot in honor of your channel. 2005. Okay, well that's when That's when it was. Can't be. No, can't be. Could it be that? Could it have been that year? No, it can't be, because I had my Cobra then, and I was driving my dad's car. Maybe, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe it was the volcano movie. The Meaning of Life. It was all things. Wow. That's like how many years ago? 30 years ago. Yeah, it could be. I forget. It's very possible. Wow. That was a brain fart. Hitchhikers, I gotta look that up. Maybe I remember, but maybe it was Volcano I watched down in Marathon. Volcano, that was a dumb movie. Volcano. And we used to go there all the time. That was the closest movie theater. It was 50 miles away. Let me take a look at that. I'm going to research that. Hold on a second. I believe you, kind of, but I just find it hard to believe that I had such a brain fart. A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Let's Google that. Yeah, you're right. 2005. Yes, sir. Wow. Thank you for the information. So, thank you for that. Thank you for the correction. So, but I do, maybe it was Volcano and Safe Room. That's what it was that we saw. We would go every week when he stayed in my house in Key Largo. We'd go down and watch a movie. Wow. It's almost 28 years ago. It's amazing what you forget in that short period of time, yeah? Thank you. So, getting back to John Blaze. Thank you, Brainwave Relaxation. John Blaze is in the house. Oh no, that's me. That's my post. Okay. So John Blaze, I thought I posted that already. Yeah, I did. Okay. So John Blaze, you guys got to go subscribe to the John Blaze channel. I'm not kidding you. When you see the series of shorts that John created, you're going to say, oh my God, this guy is good. I'm not going to tell you what it is. And so far, everyone, he made 7 so far. Everyone will bring you to tears. Every short that he made, every one. There's 7 shorts under a minute. 7 shorts that will make you laugh till you cry. I'm not kidding. One of the greatest YouTube things that ever happened. So now, let me go to the bottom of this page. I'm going to post that link again. And then we're going to go back. Oh, man. John Blaze. Okay, that's not it. Okay, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's it. Done. Okay. Now, Joe Rogan is a government shill. And I'll go through the steps on that. And then you let me know what you think. Then 2015, 2016, Joe Rogan. I don't like Joe Rogan. First of all, I don't like him at all because I've caught him in so many lies, backpedaling, and now I'm absolutely certain he's working for the United States government as a shill, a disinformation agent. Joe Rogan said back around 7, 8 years ago, no way did we go to the moon. No, we just didn't go because we never went back. And then he posted all the factual things that we lost 1,000 metal tapes with all the information from the moon, from the launchings, from the landings, and all the technical data, how to navigate through the magnetic fields of space. We lost it all. The technology was lost because they rewrote over those magnetic tapes that said 1969 moon landing tape 1, 1969 moon landing tape 2. Somebody took the pods that the tapes were in and said, oh, we don't need the 1969 original moon landing tapes anymore, and they erased them. They erased them. 1,000 of them. The whole room full of everything that had to do with the moon. And Joe Rogan called fraud. Now, he said it's an honest mistake. It could happen. They needed the tapes and they're very expensive, so they just rewrote over them. What nonsense! No, they removed and erased the tapes because the tapes proved that it was a hoax. But more than that, Joe Rogan said there was no way that we went to the moon. And for all the same reasons I could give you. There's no indentation from a 10,000-pound thrust rocket that's landing on the moon. There's no dust. There's no sound when the astronaut says the Eagle has landed. There's no roar of an engine, a 10,000 horsepower. That 10,000 horsepower engine is not a mile away. It's not 500 feet away. It's not 10 feet away. It's 6 inches away from where he's sitting, and you can't hear 10,000 pounds of rocket thrust. It didn't make an indentation. It didn't make dust, and it didn't put any dust on the landing pads. That moron that believes, any moron that believes, all morons that believe the earth is round are wrong. All morons that believe that we went to the moon, they're fooling you. You people are that stupid to believe that. There's no indentation of a 10,000-pound exhaust from a rocket engine. There's no dust. And yet when they walked on the moon, they made a dust impact from their footprints 3/4 of an inch deep. There's no hole. There's even the material under the rocket, under the lander, is not even disturbed. It's just like somebody dropped it down on a crane, which is what they did. So, moving past that, the fact is, and they probably scrubbed this from the internet, the fact is the lunar rover that was supposed to have been clamped on to the lunar module doesn't fit on the lunar module. It's 2 feet too big. They probably removed that piece of information. They never went to space. And now, why didn't they go to space? What else are they lying about? Let me tell you what else they're lying about. Here. In here, let's just say this is, it's candy. Not for me, though. I don't eat that shit. But I had 2 pieces today. But inside here, let's make believe this is a... Oh, I have. Well, let's forget about that. We don't have to make believe anything. This is a pressurized can of aerosol. In here is a corrosion block. The best anti-corrosion spray that you can buy. This little can is now about $30 for 11 ounces. And let me tell you where you can buy it in case you want one. You can buy it from a company in Canada by the case. I'm gonna show it to you. There's an There's an 800 number for this. There's the 800 number. Looks like 800-526 800 564 no 800 800 800 256 2548. This is the best product that you can buy for engine anti-corrosion or water displacement. Okay, where's that? How come? There we are. What happened there? What happened? $800. There's the number, 800. You cannot buy a better product. They use this on all military aircraft, or a deviation of this product. TR4, TR8, and corrosion block. It's all made from the same basic chemical. Corrosion block. The best stuff possible. Now, if you have the price, says Scott Del Fuego. Okay, so the price is about 30 bucks, but Scott gave us a different place to get the price from. Okay, so government lacking media lies so much that I honestly don't believe anything from either one unless I have my own confidence in it. They're lying. Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Taxi, whatever his name is, they're lying. They're just straight up and down lying. Okay, so Scott gave us the link for the best price. Now, if this is an aerosol can and it's pressurized, it has pressure in it, maybe not so much, but it has pressure in it. Like the Earth's atmosphere is pressurized. In order for this can to stay pressurized, it has to stay in a non-permeable barrier. If you put a hole in the can somewhere, the pressure inside the can is going to equilibrate to outside the can. So the pressure will dissipate into the outside of the can. If you have a vacuum and you don't have a barrier, you can't have a vacuum because there's nothing to hold the vacuum in place. Yet they say that space is a vacuum. This is basic physics. You get these morons that say Fazio doesn't know what I'm talking about. This is basic physics. You learned this in basic physics. If you didn't take physics, you learned it in chemistry. If you didn't take chemistry or physics, well, then you're just disadvantaged. What could I say? That you don't have a good education. But basic physics says in order to have a vacuum, you have to have a barrier between the negative pressure and the positive pressure. You can't have both. Well, the atmosphere is not a non-permeable barrier. Where does the barrier begin and end? There's no beginning and end. There's no barrier. It's just we're in the atmosphere, and then we're in the troposphere, which is not a barrier, and then we're in space. There's no barrier. There's no space. We never went to space as a vacuum per se. We never went to the moon, period. Not in the Apollo spaceship. We've never been out of high Earth orbit in any spaceship. No one went to Mars. There's no rover on Mars. The negotiation of space to the moon, estimated by Werner von Braun, the man who helped Hitler create rockets, the V-2 rockets, and he worked with NASA, helped developing the Titan rockets and the Saturn rockets and the rockets that eventually brought men to the so-called moon landing. Werner von Braun was an engineer that worked on it. His physics calculations worked out in order to get a man to the moon, we would need a spaceship as big, at the time the World Trade Centers were not built. We would need a spaceship as tall, 1,250 feet high, as the Empire State Building, and wider by half the width of the Empire State Building. As tall and wider in both directions. And that would have to be filled up with fuel. Because if if there is a vacuum, and that was based on the concept that space is a vacuum. If there's a vacuum, there's nothing to push against when the rocket. Now, I had a conversation with a guy back in 2010 about this. It was a big thread and trending on YouTube. If there is no volume and space is a vacuum, what does the thrust from the rocket engine push against in order to create movement? And there were people from all over the world with all kinds of credentials. Every smart person was saying that if there's a vacuum in space, no matter how much rocket fuel you burn, you can't have thrust. Because in order to have thrust, you have to put the thrust against something. In a jet airplane, the thrust is thrust against the atmosphere. In the water, the propeller pushes volume of water through the water to create forward or reverse movement. But in space, there's nothing in a vacuum. Therefore, you can't have thrust. And that went on for a long time. It went on for like a year and a half. And then finally, YouTube just took the whole post down. There were millions and millions of posts, people arguing about the same argument over and over and over, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. But nobody could prove that in a vacuum, you could have thrust. So then there were people that said, well, if you put out enough thrust, then the thrust from the rocket you have can push against the thrust that you posted previously, like an equal, there has to be an equal and opposite reaction. It's one of the laws of motion. So in order to have motion, you'd have to put out thrust and put out a temporary atmosphere, and then you'd have to put the thrust against that temporary atmosphere to move forward. And Werner von Braun said you'd need a spaceship bigger than the Empire State Building, wide in depth and as high, in order to bring enough rocket fuel to create thrust in a vacuum. Therefore, we never went to space. We never went there. It's a hoax. And now, and as far as the Earth being flat, if we never went to space, what else are they lying about? They're lying about whether the Earth is flat or not. I could go through this with you day after day, month after month, week after week, second. I'll debate anybody on, you bring up a proposal in my chat window and I'll knock it down. I will, because I've spent a month and a half now studying the physics of the flat Earth. And I'll go through one item, 2 items, maybe 3. I'll go through them. You're going to lose. It doesn't matter how smart you think you are. If you argue with me about whether or not the Earth is flat, I'm going to prove you to be less educated than you think you are. I'm going to prove you wrong. I can do that. I'm not a physicist or anything like that, but I can prove you wrong. Give me an example of why the Earth is not flat, and I'll tell you why it is flat. You guys think I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding you. So you can't have a vacuum unless you have a permeable barrier. And once you have a permeable barrier, which is the troposphere, which is a permeable barrier, not a non-permeable barrier. Once you have a troposphere, which is non-permeable, the vacuum in space and the pressure of our atmosphere would equilibrate. Therefore, space has volume, not a vacuum. Can't be a vacuum. Could it be less of a atmosphere than we have on Earth? I don't know, but it's not a vacuum. That I do know. They're lying to you. They say Earth is a perfect vacuum, you can't hear sound. Well, if it's a perfect vacuum because you can't hear sound, then it's a perfect vacuum. They lie. They lie about so many things. So I'll read the comments and then I'll go back and I'll prove to you that the Earth is not spinning in a minute. Scott says, the law of vacuum states, that Mr. Spock said that in A Search for, on the way home. The law of vacuum states that the universe abhors an empty space or a vacuum and will expand to fill this space. Spock said that in one of the Star Trek movies. The universe abhors a vacuum. Do we know the point at which they would lie about the Earth and the universe? No, we don't know. It's non-stop. So let me show you not theoretically, let me show you the physics of a spinning Earth, how it's impossible. This is basic algebra. It's not complicated. You learn this with the choo-choo train traveling on a railroad tracks. But first I'm going to show you, I need some money, folks. I need some money. It's your turn. Your turn. I need 75,000 pesos to buy the Chinook drone. You guys got to come up with this. Otherwise, I'll start begging. I'll start begging for alcohol and cigarettes. That I know I'm going to get. I'll start begging for alcohol and cigarettes. Maybe I'll have more luck. That I'm going to smoke while I'm flying my new drone. How's that? How's that for you? You ignorance. You guys, the ignorant ones. How's that? I'll beg. I need some cigarettes. I need some cigarette money. I need some booze. And when I'm flying my drone, I'll drink the cigarettes and smoke the booze. And you guys can come fly with me. Yeah. I'll drink the cigarettes and smoke the booze. And you guys can come fly with me. Send me some money. I don't have any money. I don't have any money for cigarettes. And I don't have any money for food. I don't have any money for booze. And you send me some money. Send it to me, and I'll fly the drone, and you guys can come flying with me. Yeah, baby. It's an amazing thing. Maybe I'll get money for cigarettes and booze. Maybe I'm in the wrong begging genre. So this is what I want, and this is what I expect people to start sending money for. My PayPal, my Super Chat, my hello buttons. This is a Chinook, a CH47. From rotor to rotor is 99 feet, 42 feet, 42 feet of usable cargo space. 42 feet of usable cargo space. You could fit a couple of half tracks in there. It'll lift 20,000 pounds. It'll fly 250 kilometers with a 20,000 pound payload. It flies 200 miles an hour. And I want to get the drone. It's up to you. I'm running a new SCEMDOOZAL. I'm running one. It's your opportunity to help me get a new drone. And now that it's stopped raining, I predict there will be no more rain for months. We're going to go into the dry season. They cleared it up. The wind is blowing. There's not going to be any more rain, I predict. But because it's time for them to stop making it rain. Now, moving past that. Oh, yeah, well, that's true. O2 does get... It's the density of the oxygen that decreases. It does decrease. O2 definitely decreases as you go up higher, but there cannot be a vacuum. There cannot be a vacuum between the atmosphere that the planes fly in at 60,000 feet and go up another 20,000 feet and have a vacuum. It's not possible. There has to be a non-permeable barrier. Does the air get thinner and you need more thrust to create lift? Yes. And you need more speed? Yes. It's true. It definitely is true. But it doesn't matter. There can't be a breakaway point where there's a vacuum. If there was a vacuum, it would suck all the atmosphere out. It would suck the troposphere into space. It would suck the atmosphere into space. You cannot have a vacuum without a barrier, and the troposphere is not a barrier. Now, as far as the O2 decreasing, lift decreases also. Lift decreases because there's less molecules of oxygen, nitrogen, and some other inert gases in the atmosphere as you go higher. As you come closer to the ocean level, the density of those molecules becomes closer and closer because of a pressure. But no, it's not gravity. There's no such thing as gravity. Doesn't exist. It's just part of the way the physics of the universe is. But it has to do more with density than anything. So if you have a column of water and you put rocks in it, and you put milk in the column of water, eventually it'll equilibrate somewhere halfway up from the surface of the water to the bottom of the water. If you put milk, that will be, it'll have a, I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you. I'll show you the answer to your question. I think I know where it is. It's in this video here. I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a link to the video you watch this. I'm getting the link ready for you now. Okay. In the video, at the top comment in this video, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to try to remember the timestamps, but that's the name of the video and the link. But I'll turn this around and I'll show you the video link. One, two, three, four. In the top of the in the top comment in the link I just gave you are all of the table of contents of what is in 200 proofs the Earth is not a spinning ball. And I think it's at 123, if I remember correctly. No. These are all provable experiments, by the way. It has to do with the column of water. (103) gravity. I thought it was 130, but I think this is it. Let's go here. What's that about? Skip the ad. Yeah, there it is, right there. See, my memory is, I said 130, but it's really 103.10. Okay, so this is a column of water, and the scamming fedora is in effect. That's true. It's not working so well. So this is a column at 103.10 on the bottom, that 103.10, and this shows you the density of different products. A ping pong ball floats on top of the column because it's lightest. Then you have lamp oil, rubbing alcohol, vegetable oil, and all of these things. If you put all of these things in a column, a little bit of liquid, let's say 4 ounces of each, all of them could take a year, could take 6 months, could take 2 years, but all of them will equilibrate at their specific density. So honey is a heavy item. A bolt sits on the bottom. A bolt, B-O-L-T. That sits on the bottom. Then you have corn syrup, honey, corn syrup, maple syrup, dye, milk in the middle, dish soap on top of that, water on top of that. Cherry tomato floats at about midstream. Soda cap, a plastic soda cap that is, vegetable oil, rubbing alcohol, lamp oil, and a ping pong ball. This has to do with density. That's the difference. There is no gravity, but there is density. Everything seeks its own specific density. Everything has a specific density. If that bolt that you see on the bottom there, that's a bolt. If this was a column of liquid mercury, the bolt would sit on the top and float like a ping pong ball, because the specific density of iron or steel is less than mercury, so it would float on top of the mercury. And that's the problem with you people. That is the problem with you people. Your lack of education. I'm being serious now. Your lack of education has not allowed you to see this in physics or chemistry. And your basic chemistry and physics that you were taught in media, 7th and 8th grade, before high school, and then college, has shown you all of what I said is true, but you have been brainwashed to believe it's not true. Now, the last example, and then I'm going to go. I'm going to show you how flight around a spinning ball cannot take place. It's not possible. I'm going to do something that they do in school. They write on things. So let's go here. This goes over here. Let's go here. Here's the Earth, right? This is the Earth. Morons, believing that the Earth is round. Actually, all right. So now, if okay, the Earth is spinning this way at 1,000 miles, 1,038 miles per hour. Okay. Now, if the Earth is spinning this way at 1,038 miles an hour, and you have, listen to me now, and you have an airplane that flies at 1,000 miles an hour. They don't, but some do. But let's just say they all do. You have 1,038 miles an hour, and you have an airplane that can fly 1,038 miles per hour. That's what they say, it's spinning. Okay, so this airplane, here's the airport over here. It takes off and it heads east at 1,038 miles per hour. Here's the airplane. I got to write this stuff down because you people are a little stupid. Okay, so, oh man, that was bad. Hold on a minute, I gotta get the cap, because otherwise I'm gonna lose the cap. I mean, you're not a little stupid. You're really stupid. There's a big difference. So now, the Earth is traveling. Let's just make it realistic. (1,038 miles an hour). The Earth is spinning this way from west to east. East is that way. Now you have an airplane on top here. Takes off at the airport, and the airplane is going east at 1,038 miles per hour. But the Earth is spinning at 1,038 miles per hour. Well then, here is the airplane, this dot here, and they're both spinning at the same speed, and no matter how long, they're both spinning at exactly the same speed. The airplane never leaves where it took off from. It stays over the airport forever. Now, because they're both spinning at the same level. So the airport is spinning at 1,038. The airplane is spinning at 138. They're both traveling at 1,038. Therefore, he's remaining stationary but above the airport. The airplane could never reach a destination. It's basic railroad information. The train is traveling at 10 miles per hour. If you are walking next to the train at 10 miles an hour, you continuously look at the same caboose until you stop, change your speed. However, if you're in the train and you walk forward 10 miles an hour, now you're walking 10 miles an hour in relative speed to the train, plus 10 miles an hour that the train is moving relative speed to the ground. You're moving at 20 miles per hour. This is basic physics. Don't argue the point, just listen. If the Earth is spinning at 1,038 and the airplane is traveling, they both travel together. They're like linked with a rope. However, if you're going in the opposite direction at 1,038 miles an hour, then you're traveling at 2,076 miles per hour. 1,038 plus 1,038 is 2,076. So if you're traveling against the rotation of the Earth, you're traveling at 2,076 miles per hour. So if you were 2,000 miles away, it would take you 1 hour to go 2,000 miles, because now you add 1,038 plus your 1,038, you move 2,076 miles per hour. The Earth, now if you were moving at 1,000, if the Earth is moving at 1,038 and the aircraft is moving at 500 miles an hour, then the airplane is moving, the Earth is moving forward and the airplane is moving back. You'll never get to your destination until the Earth travels one rotation backwards. You'll come up on your destination behind you. This is simple geometry, algebra, trigonometry, physics. It's the most basic. It's A plus B equals C. There's nothing complicated about this at all. Now you have the argument that the Earth's atmosphere is moving. It's not. It's not moving at 1,038 miles an hour, because if it was, here is the equator, 1,038 miles per hour. Here's the equator. But at the top, the North Pole or the South Pole, that's only just spinning. So it would be almost 0 miles per hour. 0. Almost. Well, it would be 0 at the exact epicenter of the pole. Okay? So if it's 0 here and 1,038 here, somewhere in between, it's 500 miles an hour. You'll never see this, because in the atmosphere, flying to the Philippines, you fly past Russia, China, Korea on the thermal currents of the Earth. Some of the currents are headed north to south, and some of them are headed south to north, or east to west and west to east, depends on where you are. But if the Earth was spinning and the whole atmosphere was spinning with it, all the atmosphere would spin in the same direction. It doesn't do that. You look up at the sky on a clear day, the low clouds are moving in one direction, east to west, and the next level of clouds is moving from west to east, and then maybe there's clouds moving from south to north. If the Earth's atmosphere was spinning, it would all be going in the same direction. You people have been brainwashed, and I was also, to believe that the Earth is a spinning ball. It's not a spinning ball. Let me go to the comments section. I see some people posted some stuff. The scamming fedora is in full. It didn't work. The scamming fedora is losing its touch. It's losing its touch. But, John Blaze, I heard you're selling engineered sperm. Hey, John, how you doing? I got your link up there a few times in the comments section. John Blaze, the greatest. He is the greatest. He created the greatest new concept of short posts on YouTube ever. There's an endless, where's my spoon? I lost my spoon. There's an endless supply of posts on John Blaze's channel. He can make a post. John Blaze created a concept of creating posts. Now let's say you made hamburgers. You could make 10 recipes for hamburgers, and then that's pretty much it, right? Then you could go to a roll and with onions, without onions, all. You might be able to squeeze 30 or 40 posts out of how to make a hamburger, the best hamburger. John, he created a never-ending supply of comedy posts. John Blaze can live 100 years and never run out of supply. Never. He can't. It's not possible, because he took a subject matter. He took a subject and put that subject into a subject matter personification where there is no end to the amount of posts that you could make on that subject matter. There's none. He's got 7 up now. He could have 7 more in another hour. He'll have 15 more in the hour after that. He could have, as fast as he can make 1-minute posts, he can create subject matter endlessly and flawlessly and truthfully. He has created the greatest concept on YouTube. There's going to be people forever in this world using John Blaze's posting, let's call it a playlist, or posting template. There are going to be thousands of people all over YouTube using his template. It's going to be a phenomenon. It's going to be a phenomenon. Not in the YouTube genre, in the world. There's going to be people all over the world doing it. They'll make millions and millions and millions and millions of videos, and John Blaze should be the one that gets the credit for it, but they'll steal his idea. That's how great the John Blaze concept is. It outdoes the pot. It's more powerful than flushing an American standard toilet, and it's certainly a bigger scandal than e-begging for 75,000 pesos to buy a CH47 helicopter. Nothing. You people have given me nothing. I'm gonna cancel my order for the Chinook helicopter drone, and I'm gonna start e-begging for alcohol and cigarettes. I could say that I've missed the boat on this one. My main topic should be now you're going to start e-begging. I'm going to start e-begging for cigarettes, which I don't smoke. I'll give them to my neighbors. I'm going to start e-begging for alcohol, which I don't drink. I'll give it to my neighbors. And I'm going to start e-begging for some, well, you can't buy meat here, so it doesn't matter. The meat here comes from Brazil or Argentina. But I'm going to start e-begging for cigarettes and booze, because you people have forced me out of the Chinook e-begging scenario, and I'll start e-begging for booze. I mean, it works for everybody else, right? Or, and this is a good one too. This is another scam. I mean, another good idea. I can say then I'm going to file a case against somebody. And I'll start begging for funds for my lawyer. And then you guys, and I'll bring in some papers, and I'll have my lawyer scribble some notes down on a piece of paper saying that I gave him a 40,000 peso deposit, and then you guys can pay for a case. And then I'll have my opponent beg for some money for his lawyer, and we'll go back and forth, and we'll make a new case every 6 to 8 months or every year, and we'll just keep scamming the money from you people for lawyers. Because you people are dumber than rocks. Let me tell you something. You people are dumber than rocks. You gave a guy that can't possibly and not possibly need money because of his previous investments. He owns a motorcycle. Why would you give money to somebody that went out and bought a brand new motorcycle? If he needed money, he should have just auctioned that motorcycle off and paid his lawyer. You give people money that have sustenance, have investments, motorcycle investment. You could have just sold his motorcycle and then he could have paid his lawyer off. I don't understand. I don't understand why you're giving people money that have money. He already has money. He's a made man. He's a made man when it comes. He's a very successful man in Philippine standard. He's a very successful man. He can do things. He's made his money work for him. He has a motorcycle. He saves money on the trips on the buses, and he's a well versed man. When he knows all the best night spots. Oh yeah. I'm gonna get a map of Bohol. I'm gonna get a list of all the restaurants and eateries and fast food joints and beer joints and tiki huts that sell soda and soft drinks and alcohol. I'm gonna make a blog where you can go to Alona Beach and you could go and to the Bird's Eye Bar and Grill, and you can buy alcohol and look at the sunset. I'm going to do that. That seems to be one of the greatest scams on earth. Yeah, I know where every bar is. You send me money, I'll tell you where there's a bar. Yeah, I'm going to follow in that great man's footsteps, that man who invested heavily into a motorcycle, to show you, John Blaze, to show us all, I have money. I have money. I have a motorcycle. You guys don't understand. You have no idea. For a man to own a new motorcycle in the Philippines, a very, very, very prestigious position to have a new motorcycle. They're very prestigious. Don't underestimate the power of owning a motorcycle. And then from there, once you have a motorcycle, you can go to an eatery or a place that sells alcohol, and then you can ask for money for cigarettes and beer money. You could do that. You can do that. Okay? Don't ever underestimate the power of owning a motorcycle. Let me go to the comments. Engineered burnups. Chi the dog. I don't know who you are, but you really can't put stuff like that on my channel. So thanks for stopping by, though. What I suggest you do is go become a member of John Blaze's channel, because you can't post unless you're a member of his, a subscriber. I got to get an American Standard toilet. Flush the pot, bang the toilet, and then I'll go from there. I'll get an American Standard with a drop box toilet. I'll flush the pot, drop the toilet, bang the toilet, flush the pot, bang the toilet. I'll make a fortune here in the Philippines. These people have never seen... wait, all kidding aside, yesterday, I don't know if Stella is watching. Okay, probably not. But I was sitting down with my neighbors. There was Justin, Christian, and Dindin. Dindin is the goat man. Justin is the manager to the Stanley House, and Justin is the maintenance man at the Stanley House. So the three of us are sitting there. They were drinking beer and buku juice, coconut juice. So I stopped by after I got home from the city and sat down, because all of them have been my friends for years. And we're sitting there. I'm trying to see what I can and what I can. And then another fella from Europe stops by, Alexander. And he stops by and he sits down and he asked us what we were talking about. And we told him what we were talking about, and he didn't believe us, but it was true. I can't tell you what it was, but it was true. It was about, it's a Filipino culture game that they play, the men play. So he goes, no, they don't play that game. Well, yeah, they play that game. Yep. It's called look, 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 look. Anybody that knows what look, look means knows that I'm telling the truth. So with that, Alexander stopped by and he sat down, and we all, when I told him what we were laughing at, he didn't believe it. But then I said, ask the Filipino men. There's three of them right there. They all agreed that the game I was talking about, they play. It's a strange game. It wouldn't be something I would play. Anyway, so Alexander went home. He left, and his girlfriend, who was cleaning the front of the house, stopped by. I saw her sweeping and dusting in front of the house. And she said, hello, Michael. I don't know her from Adam. I said, well, I'm really not sure who you are. Do I know you? And she said, no. She goes, but I watched that video that you made of you teaching Daisy how to do snorkeling. She goes, I just loved that video. She goes, you were so kind and gentle to Daisy. And I said, well, when you're teaching somebody something that they're afraid of, swimming and snorkeling, you got to go easy on them. So she gave me one of the nicest compliments. She goes, that was just a beautiful video. So then they went to Alona Beach to watch the sunset. So that's what I got to start doing. Now that it's stopped raining, I'm going to take the drone out. And on January 31st, Alexander has a drone also, the European man. And I said to him, have you been flying lately? He said, no, there's too much rain. Can't fly in the rain. He said, but on the 31st, there's going to be a full moon high tide at 6 o'clock. And he's going to be down at the Modala and fly the drone and watch the full moon and the full moon tide and the sunset. And usually pretty, if there's no clouds. So there are other people that have drones, but no one's been able to fly. That's my point. So I'm not going to go down there. I don't care about a full moon or a high tide. But nobody's been able to fly their drone at all. And I haven't seen any drones on the beach. I usually see one or two when I go down there, but nothing. And there's another young man, Eric. He's about 12 years old, 13 years old. I asked him if he flies his drone lately. He said he can't fly in the rain. Nobody can fly in the rain. So that's what we were doing. But last night we laughed our butt off. Australian Bone, Michael Dowdy is in the house. Welcome, Michael. Thanks for stopping by. Bang the pot. Michael wants me to bang the pot. I'll bang the pot. Michael and I are friends on Facebook. And Michael offered me medicine and pads, and gauze pads and stuff for my leg. My leg is doing well, actually. My leg is getting better. I'm taking another dose of ciprofloxacin, 750 milligrams twice a day. And the infection went away. It came back really strong last week. In 3 days, there was enough pain to drop the average man to his knees every step of the way. You had to take two ibuprofen every 2 hours to kill the pain. When the infection came back last week, It was terrible. I had to go to the hospital last week for another prescription. Michael Dowdy. If you're not subscribed to John Blaze's channel, please do so. Okay, Michael Dowdy got a free pot banging. Free pot banging. Yeah! Brainwave relaxation. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen anytime soon. Or you can get a girlfriend and we could buy me a wedding ring. I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that. Thank you. Bummer is the Elon Musk of the Philippines. I don't know who Bummer is, but the name projects abject failure. You people should respect the fedora of the flim flam man. This fedora made me a lot of money too. You guys don't understand. You don't know a good scam when you see one. And I know that you're all watching, waiting for me to make some sort of mistake. Brainwave, Filipinos love Bummer for his mind and his looks. Brainwave, your brain must be on vacation. Should be Brainwave on vacation. Scott, that guy, not really the sharpest knife in the bar. Oh yeah. Scott is doing a little bit of humor, bass humor. And then John Blaze says, then after I'm in the bar, I run out on the tab. That you know, I got home. I had to go to the city yesterday. I had to go. They didn't have the prescription. Another prescription. I bought the whole lot of ciprofloxacin, 1 dose. And they didn't have 750, so I bought 21 500. Same, and I cut one in half, and I take it twice a day. I cut one in half, which I didn't do today. I didn't take my medicine. Hold on a minute. Yes, I did not. Okay. So, I have one that I cut in half, and one I take whole. That adds up to 750. And my leg, the wounds went from being this big, 3 1/4 inches, down to just about 2 inches. Hey, Spanky. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Gary. And I'll get with you in a minute. So the wounds went from 3 1/4 down to 2 inches, and then last week, the big one went down to 2 inches from 3 1/4. The medium one went from 2 1/4 down to about 1 1/4 inches, and the one that was about 1 1/4 inches went down to about 3/4 inch. But now that's just a scab, only a scab. And the second and the third one are mostly scab. But in a 48-hour period, they got reinfected. There's something in my body and in the Philippines. No one knows what it is. So from Wednesday to Friday, the infection got so bad that I could barely walk. And then I went to the hospital Monday, and then I got a prescription, and I took a batch, and they didn't sign the prescription off. I'm not sure why. The whole prescription for ciprofloxacin, that's the one that worked, it was only 100. Well, one prescription was $121 where I went, the price. That's what I got it for. But another place on the same block was $145. Another place on the same block was $149. Another place was $247, and another place was $640, or 5 different prices. So I got another dose yesterday of this, but in 24 hours, three doses, three 750 milligram doses. The infection just went away. It's gone. No more pain, and I can walk normal. I can walk normal. Before, every step was enough pain to drop most people to their knees, but I had to move around on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But 2 years ago, I couldn't walk at all. I had to take 12 and 14 ibuprofen a day. Moving on past that, it's getting better, and the infection is once again gone. So John Blaze says he's being facetious here, and then I run out on the tab. So last night there was a video of a guy in a bar. I watched it live. I don't normally watch. I do watch his videos, but I had just taken a nap, and I woke up and I said, there's nothing on. Let me watch the video. So he was in a bar talking to people. Bar talk. Nothing you really couldn't hear over the sound of the music. But at some point, someone walked up to him, and you don't know what he said because he muted the sound. And then the man in question took out a 200 peso bill. Okay, so, and he showed it to the man. I'm going, why would you show 200 peso bill to the man? Why would you do that? Unless you had to prove that you had money. I don't know. That you couldn't see that. If you don't know if it was a man or a woman, but he was showing somebody 200 peso bill. Like, yeah, I got 200 pesos. Okay, I spent 200 pesos on. You don't want to know what I spent yesterday. That'll make the guy cry. What I spent yesterday. If I took out the bills, you'd get sick. So, a little while later, a girl voice apparently walked up in front of the person in question and said, I only watched it once last night. You have to pay. And then the gentleman said, yeah, I paid. And then she said, no, you forget to pay. And then the sound was muted. And then he did something really stupid. But that would be up to, that's none of my business what he did next. But apparently someone confronted him with that he didn't pay, or there was a mistake, that somebody didn't know that he paid, or he paid a different person. There's no way of knowing in a bar. I mean, I don't know how. I've never been in a bar in my life in the Philippines. I've never been in a bar, ever. Not even once. And in America, I never ran up a bar tab. I used to pay for each drink as I went. This way the guy can't, the bartenders, they pad the bill. I pay each drink as I go. I wouldn't run up a bar bill. Now, if someone else was running up a bar bill, I would keep track of my drinks, and then I would pay them what I owed them at the end of the night. But me, personally, I never ran up a bar bill. I don't drink. There's no reason for me to run up a bar bill. But that guy was confronted accused of not paying his bill. That's factual. That I watched. Now, I do understand that Illuminati and Alo de Winter and Roberto all have those videos up on their channel. So if you want to go watch it, it's on their channel. I wouldn't put that on my channel. It's not part of my content. I don't put anything that has to do with drinking alcohol or smoking cigarettes on my channel. something I don't do, something I don't embellish upon, or I don't appreciate it. I don't want to see people smoking cigarettes, even though I did smoke. You never saw me smoke. I smoked for on and off for 2 years now. I quit, but I smoked on and off for 5 years in the Philippines. No one's ever seen me smoke a cigarette that I can remember. I don't think I ever smoked a cigarette on a live stream or in a video, because I don't think it's a good thing to do, so I don't publish it. So let's go back to the comments. John Blaze is in the house. So you guys, John Blaze just said that he runs out on his bar tab. Now, we don't know that. We don't know that, but from what I saw in the video, someone was confronting him, stating that they believe he ran out on his bar tab on another day, I think. There's no way knowing because the sound was muted. So we don't know that that even happened. The girl who said that could have been lying, or she could have been mistaken. He may have paid it to the bar and not paid her. I don't know. So I won't speculate on that. But he was definitely accused of not paying a bill. You forget to pay your bill, is what she said. You forget to pay your bill. I don't know what that means. Mike Dowdy, more information here. Says a man's immigration status has to be current to have a motorcycle registered. I don't know. I don't own a motorcycle. Oh, Scott, I know you're up. I tried to buy that thing that I showed you. A while back, I told you that it was made in China. I sent them a mail. This is 3 weeks ago. When I was talking to you about it, I said, send me if you have a distributor in the Philippines. I will go to your distributor and pay for the item in question in pesos, or I'll give them my debit card, one or the other, but they never got back to me. So I sent them another mail a couple of days later, maybe 4 days later, for the item again. I posted it again. I copied the first one and I sent it again. I said, please tell me how to order this product. I want one, okay? I want to buy one. Do I have to have a customs brokerage house in Cebu clear the item, because that doubles the price of the item? No one ever got back to me. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the amount of pesos that it was, plus almost double for the customs brokerage house and the additional shipping from Cebu to Bohol. We're talking about 200,000 pesos that no one responded from China. Same problem that I had getting the rebar bender from somebody in China, from Alibaba. Same problem with the next item. They don't respond to your questions. They don't answer your questions. They have a page. Please send us, and in that case, it was I could look it up. It was about 90,000 pesos. Please send us 90,000 pesos and we will ship your item. Tell you, but they don't. My question was, I'll buy it if you answer, do I have to pay customs? So you can send them the 90,000, no refunds, no refunds. And then they'll make arrangements to get it to you, but if the arrangements include a customs brokerage house, you have to go to Cebu in person and get a customs clearance broker to take the item. So you have a trip to Cebu and a trip back, and then a trip to Cebu and a trip back once the item comes, because you have to be at the warehouse to accept delivery. So it was $90,000, but they wouldn't tell me if I needed, this is for Scott, $90,000, they wouldn't tell me if I needed a customs clearance, and they never got back to me. This is so hard to do business here in the Philippines. But I don't know how I got on that subject. Brainwaves. Oh, yeah, a motorcycle. Brainwaves relaxation, that's being facetious. He says, as long as you have a motorcycle, no gums, he has gums, have culinary skills, he's definitely got that. Cook ramen noodles for 35 minutes, it was closer to 40. And borderline emphysema, you're a catch in the Philippines. That's all true. That's all true. Brainwaves, you're a real jerk, Brainwaves. Set to the Benny Hill music. Yeah. He's a funny dude. All right, so Spanky. Oh shit, I forgot about Spanky. Sorry, Spanky. I apologize. Oh, I found out. I left a message on Facebook. I'm sorry, Spanky. Oh man, any bank, any big bank, RCBC, especially if you have an RCBC where you are. 100% RCBC either has Spanky is building a house in the Philippines. And I looked into this because my men that are going to work on my hotel are going to have an NBI clearance, police clearance, barangay clearance, and okay, all right. I looked in. Okay, so either the contractor has to have the insurance for the men, or the homeowner, but every man on the job should be insured. It's only 3 pesos a day to have insurance for a man on the job. Thank you, Spanky. I apologize for I got sidetracked with some stuff there. But, so this is the rules in the Philippines for construction. I stopped by a contractor, I won't say, because his name is Rodrigo. And I asked him if he had what I just talked. No, we don't need that. I said, yeah, okay, we're done. We're done. No, Mike, but I know you want to build a hotel. We're done. We're done. Number one, we're done. And number two, is that guy over there, is he going to be working on my job? Maybe. We're done. 100% we're done. Okay? Because I'm not going to I know the man I just spoke about cannot get an NBI clearance. He certainly can't get a barangay clearance. And there's no way I could put insurance on somebody without an NBI clearance. And he asked the guy working on his job, which is okay for me. I don't care. But any major bank in the Philippines can give a homeowner or a contractor insurance for 2.73 pesos per day per person, for up to 100,000 pesos for injury. Then there is a 5,000 peso payout for death on a job, and a $5,000, not peso, $5,000 for death on a job to the family, $5,000 for the loss of a limb. That's for 2.73 pesos per day. However, if you want more, you pay more. But any major bank, PNB, RCBC, and the other major banks will all give you insurance for men, but they have to have Philippines ID and an NBI clearance. Otherwise, you can't get insurance for them. Okay, so that Spanky's building a house, and I told him, look, if the guy has 10 men and 9 of them are insured and 1 gets hurt that's not insured, you'll get stuck with the bill. All right, Michael, thank you for that. Michael Fazio. Yeah, the generic pharmacies were not always the cheapest ones, though, Michael. Mike Fazio does not like to drink. He has an occasionally consumed alcoholic for sleep, which I haven't had in... I haven't needed alcohol to go to sleep in a year, going on a year now. But when my leg was seriously infected, I drank a lot. Scott says, once I badgered, and pain. And once when I badgered him for Christmas, Scott and I got enamored on Christmas. I had a bottle of tequila and Curacao, blue Curacao. It's 84 proof. Me and Scott started drinking. First time I had a drink in maybe a year. I don't remember the last time I had a drink before that. I was freaking hammered. We started at about 10 o'clock in my morning and 10 o'clock at his night. And then we started laughing and giggling, and then Scott disappeared. He says, I'll be back, and he never came back. He freaking fell asleep. I think that's what happened. I'm not real sure. I forgot. I drank 3/4 of a bottle. That was the last time I drank Christmas Eve, me and Scott. We had our drink together, and I have no wish, want, will, or desire to do that again anytime soon. That was enough for me. I was by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, or 1 o'clock in the morning in Scott's time, we were both freaking hammered. The difference is I had the rest of my day ahead of me, which was in my bed. I went straight to sleep. I woke up at 7 o'clock that night. Christmas, I think it was Christmas. I don't even remember what day. It was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Spanky said the builder has that covered. Okay, Spanky, well, I'm glad you got that. At least you asked. You'll be responsible. You'll be on the hook for that. Scott says, do foreigners have to have shots? I have no idea. I have no idea. None at all. I think if you come into Cebu, the answer is no. But if you come into Manila, the answer is yes, I think. Ah, yeah, okay. So they have the negative virus test. In Vietnam, they had that test $15, and you got that at the airport. We have to have it within 24 hours of departure. But some places charge $50 and some places charge $100. But in Vietnam, they give you a $15 test. Yeah, it's a negative. And if you turn up negative, you're okay to fly. Yeah, no, I'm never going to hire anybody. I have had many people on the block ask me to do work here when I'm doing work out in the backyard. And I say, look, do you have an NBI clearance? No, I don't need an NBI clearance. Well, you do if you want to work for me. You have to. So far, no one's had it, so I never hired anybody. But when I do start building, I will be the contractor in charge. Somebody else may have the legal contract, but I'll be in charge of what they need for insurance, paperwork. I'll do all the clerical work to make sure the job goes. I will be the buyer for the supplies. I'm not going to let a contractor buy supplies. I will be the person that counts it when it comes off the truck. That kind of stuff I can do. Good to have, says Spanky, when you hire an individual to work on your property from the gardener on up. Yes. Scott said, thanks, Mike Dowdy. So what I'm going to do is, it's 2 hours now, and I want to thank everybody. I'm going to say good day to everybody and thank you for stopping by. And then if I come up with a new scam or something that I think is scammable to scam you guys, I'm going to lay that out there. We'll see how that one flies. Talking about flying, I will be flying the drone this week. Not today, though. I'm going to show you what it looks like out there today. It's really, really, really windy out there today. I'll give you guys a little view of what I see. I see the sea from where me is. So let's go over here. There you go, baby. $1 million view. There's the yellow barge. I'll let you guys enjoy that view for a little while. I'm going to have some more water. I got to start putting my stuff. I bought stuff yesterday in the city. Oh, boy. The stuff I did in the city yesterday, boy. I went to, let's see, I stopped off at the junk shop. No. I stopped off at the, I'm having a project worked on. I stopped off to see if where he is on the project. He's nowhere. He didn't do anything since the last time I talked to him. That was 45 minutes. Then from there, I went to the bank, and I transferred $1,000, just $1,000, from my dollar account into my peso account, and the rate I got yesterday was 54.69. I think it was 54.69. Last week I transferred 1,000, and the rate was 54.55. So it went up a tenth of a point. So I have more to transfer. I was hoping it would go up to 56 or 57, but it didn't go. So I left it in my dollar account. Then I went to the bank. That's another hour in the bank. Then I went to BQ and got 10 jugs of distilled water, some mayonnaise, two gallons of mayonnaise, and some other supplies that I needed. Some Velcro to make something. I have a waistband. One of those bands that you put around your waist to lose weight. It don't fit though. They don't make one big enough. It's like it makes you sweat. So I bought the waistband, and then I bought Velcro. So I'm gonna put it on. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. It's kind of like a rubber thing, but it wasn't big enough. I couldn't fit into it either. I would be in like a harness. So that's no good. Then I went and bought the waistband because first I wanted to make sure they had the Velcro and extra wide stuff, which they did. They had it in 2 1/4 inch Velcro. Then I went and got a load for the phone, and then I went and bought what did I do next? No, then I had to go to the shop that has the parts for the shop that's working on my project, and he's had my parts for 2 weeks. Somebody went to Cebu to get the parts. They don't have the parts, and his suggestion was go to Manila. Just go to Manila and look for the parts there. So I circumvented that by telling him that's a dumb idea, but thanks for the information. So he had parts for 2 weeks. I knew he would have them for 2 weeks, though. I'm not complaining about that. And then he didn't get the parts because they don't exist. It's for a very old thing. So then he said go to Manila, but I'm going to go a different route with that. Machine shop, make the parts. Oh, that's very proper. I said, you know what? You can make. You have a lathe. Let me operate the lathe. I'll make the part. So we got to the point where I called him a liar, that he said he can't make the part. I'll make the part. Then he agreed if we have to, he'll make the part. But I might have those parts in my shop. possible I misplaced them. Very possible. So that I did. Then I went back to the cement block company that I made the cement blocks for and told them that the phone number they gave me, no one answers the phone. They don't know anything about that. They said the phone works. So I said, yeah, okay. Then I came back to buy eggs. Eggs went up from $2.40 to $2.60. $2.40 for extra large eggs to $2.60 for small eggs. And I said to the guy, no, that's crazy. A month ago they were $2.40 for the extra large. Yes, sir. Today they're $2.60 for the small eggs. So I went to another egg place and I got large eggs for $2.45. So I got 3 trays of eggs. Then I got a load for another cell phone to operate the drone. And then I had to stop by somebody's house, but they weren't home. So I kept busy yesterday from 9:30 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. I walked about 3 miles, which is good for my foot. I got my exercise in. Then I got home and sat with the men next door, and we laughed for about 45 minutes. And then I got in about 6:30, and that was it. So that's the view from my window. That's the Bohol Sea, and that's the barge that was on land for 2 years. It's getting beat up really bad, that barge. When it came to it's just an amazing thing how these people are. Anyway, they have, there's no place to store it. Safe harbor. There's no safe harbor here. They either put it on the beach and it gets beat up on the beach, or they leave it out in the ocean and it's taking 3-foot waves all day long. And it wasn't meant to take 3-foot waves. So it got destroyed. And not only that, there's no way to make you understand how Filipinos have a lack of understanding. The reason why the barge broke loose the first time, it was a storm. It was 50, 60, 70 mile an hour winds. Certainly had that. And it was a storm for like 3 or 4 days. Typhoons and monsoons and cyclones. It had that. But had they tied it up properly, had they harnessed the front of the barge properly, had they used 2 anchors, not 1, or moorings, because 2 concrete blocks, 1.5 by 1.5 cubic meters of concrete. Had they used 2 anchors spread at 20 degrees port and starboard with 2 1-inch lines and then secured it to the superstructure of the barge itself from 2 points, it would not have broke free. Had they repaired the barge properly, the pontoons are very long pontoons, very long, 45 feet long at least, maybe longer, and then where each frame goes into the pontoon, they put new frames in. They cut the plywood in 2 inches by 2 inches, or 3.5 inches by 2 inches by 3.5 inches. And then they put the joist in there. And they put 44 joists. They made it strong. But they never closed the hole. So the joist went into the hole and left a 1/4 inch on each side. And where that water goes is into the pontoon. So the pontoons both filled up from 3 and 4 and 5-foot waves out in the ocean at night, day and night for a week. It wore the mooring line apart. No one went out to check it. It wore the mooring line it wore it down, and then it landed on the beach, and they got destroyed from banging around on the beach. They don't know how to do things. They have the money, the Chinese man that owns the barge, he just doesn't know how to do it. And the Filipinos, they'll do it wrong because they don't have a lot of experience with that. They have little pump boats that weigh 1,000 pounds. They don't have barges, wooden barges. So the barge is filled up with water, and the waves smashed up and down, 3 or 4 foot waves with 5 tons of water in each pontoon, and it eventually wore out the rope. And it landed on the beach. What did? They didn't fix the holes in the pontoon, the weeper holes, because they can't do it anymore. It's under the floor. So they can't fix that. They put a pump in each pontoon, and when the waves are like they are now, every time the wave washes underneath the pontoon, half a gallon of water goes in, the pontoons will sink in 2 hours. During a big storm, the pontoons will be filled up again. Maybe 4 hours, maybe 5 hours. Doesn't matter. In one day, they'll fill up with a big storm. Now you have 10 tons of water going through, and still one line. Not 2 lines. They just don't know. They just don't know here. They don't know how to do things. Now, I worked on the water my whole life. The Chinese man, he's a nice enough man, but I asked them when they were doing the job, getting the barge out from stuck underneath the tree where it was stuck. I said, look, what I did, he knows me, and first of all, so he knows that I own heavy equipment. Because what I did most of my life was marine construction. Do you want me to tell the men how to do this job? He said, no. Okay. I never told them anything. They destroyed the bottom of the barge. Took them 2 weeks to do the repair, which wouldn't have been any repair if you did it my way. And they didn't put double spring lines on, and they did not. After the mooring and before the barge, you should have like an 18-inch rim tire, like the rim from an 18-inch tire, the tire from an 18-inch rim. And you tie half the line to the mooring, the weight, the anchor, whatever you want to call it, and the other half goes to the barge. Then when the barge pulls against it, it's like a spring, like a rubber band. It's like a big rubber band. They didn't do that. And I'm not going to tell them to do it because it's none of my business. But if they did that, it wouldn't pull the front of the barge apart like it did last time. But they told me he didn't want to know. And I said, okay. So you can expect that barge back the next big storm back up on the beach. It's an amazing thing living in the Philippines. Freebird, thank you for stopping by. You can't get a job done without all that paperwork either. You can't do it, no. They just built a house next door to me. It took a year to build a house. Not that big. Not really that big, but the contractor, a woman and a man, they own a supply house. They might even be my contractor at the end of the day. They own a huge supply house in Tagbilaran City. They were on the job at 7 o'clock in the morning and stayed till 6 or 7 o'clock at night. Nothing came on the job, nothing left the job without them seeing it. So when the order came, the woman or the man, they took turns, counted each stick, every fitting, every piece of wood, every piece of scaffolding, everything. Otherwise, the stuff goes on the job. Some of it stays on the truck and gets delivered to the foreman's house. Not the contractor, but a foreman. Some of it goes on the job and then disappears an hour later. It's really hard to do business here with these people. So that lady counted everything out at the end of the day, and then in the morning she came back and I could see her before they built a big wall there. she counted it again to make sure nothing was missing. That's the only way to do business here. There's, you know, if every man, 26 men that were working on a job, if 26 men just took one 2x3 by 10-foot home every day, in a day, that would be 26 pieces of wood, or even 10 a day. In 10 days, that's 100 pieces of wood. That's a lot of wood. That's a lot of wood. That's 10,000 pesos in lumber in 10 days. You got to be careful here. You got to have everything numbered. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I don't know who you are, though. Two Hands and a Mouth Production. If I had to take a guess, I would say that's Flying Circus. Knowing Flying Circus as I do, and I do know Flying Circus. Thanks for stopping by, dude. You're a trip. Wait, Two Hands in the Mouth. No, Flying Circus has a wrench. Okay. I had Manhattans in honor of New York City. Me and Scott got freaking hammered. Christmas. Yeah. Oh. Okay, good night. It is Flying Circus. Okay. Oh, he does have a wrench. The wrench is all the way over to the right. Okay. Thanks, Flying Circus. All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go. I'm going to say thank you for stopping by. Why doesn't anybody want to debate me on whether or not the Earth is flat? Why? Why? You want to know why? Let me summarize this whole thing. I am telling everybody that you can't debate me, a non-expert, on whether or not the Earth is flat or round, because I can beat you in a debate. I can beat Joe Rogan in a debate because he is a government shill. I can beat Neil deGrasse Tyson, whatever his freaking name is. Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think I got it written down someplace. Neil deGrasse Tyson. I can beat him in a debate because they are lying to you. They know the Earth is flat. They know it's flat. They know it's flat. They would never argue with the Michael Fazio, or they would never argue with Eric Dubay. So on Joe Rogan's show that I have, I'll give you the link. On Joe Rogan's show, Joe Rogan said, why don't you debate Eric Dubay? And deGrasse Tyson said, no, I'm not going to debate him. I know, I wouldn't do that. I won't give them any.
Religion in many ways gives you answers right now. Yeah. Without the need to research it. Or
He won't debate Eric Dubay. Why? Because he knows Eric Dubay would bury him. Eric's been probably the foremost leader in the flat Earth in the last 8 years, but I know enough to blow anybody out of the water when it comes to the flat Earth. Why do you think all these trolls come to my channel and they won't say anything now? Why? And then when they were coming, the Earth is not. They say it on that worthless e-beggar in Texas or Kentucky, that worthless human being. They say it on his channel. Fazio thinks the Earth is flat, but they won't come and debate me. They won't come and debate, because I'll bury them in knowledge. So they'll go. They're perfectly happy with knocking me down on someone else's channel, but they will never, ever come and debate me on the flat Earth concept, because everything I've told you is truthful. It's all true. Everything that I told you about the Earth, the spinning ball Earth, and so on and so forth, it's not theory. What is theory? I'll tell you what is theory and what is not theory. Let me get this posted, and then I'll tell you what is theory and what is not theory. It's nonsense, absolute nonsense. The Big Bang Theory is absolute nonsense. If you read the Big Bang Theory paper by the cosmologists that wrote and read and researched the Big Bang Theory, it's a theory. It's in the title of the thesis. At some point in the Big Bang Theory, stated in the beginning, before you even read the research that the guy did to try to prove that the Big Bang existed, it says this cannot be proven. It's theoretical. It says it. It's a theory, the Big Bang. The fact that the Earth is spinning around the sun at the Earth spins at 1038. The Earth rotates around the sun at 50,000 miles an hour, and the sun and the Earth are moving through space at 500,000 miles. It's all theory. There's no factual evidence. That's why they don't come anymore. They can make a joke out of it, like that guy that they make fun of the infection on my leg. Is that right? No, I don't think it's right, but you know, they do it because they need to earn super chats, so they do it for the drama. They don't have the people that are the most egregious and let's call them dishonest with what happened to my leg, and that it's rotten and it fell off and it went into, it's being stuffed and mounted to a wall. Look at those two people that do that. They are both people that have nothing at all. Nothing at all going for them. Nothing. Nothing at all. Neither one of them have worked not even a single day in the last 20 years. Neither one of them can work. Both of them are capable of sitting in a chair or riding a motorcycle, but they have done nothing for the benefit of society in 20 years. Each, not combined. They are the slouch, the slugs, as my brother from another mother calls them, the leeches of society. The leeches of society. And as for those people saying, how could Fazio take the side of that guy who talked about this, that, and the other thing to a child over that other guy who made fun of when I got beat up? Well, I think you have to justify one with the other. Which one was more egregious towards me as a person, as a human being? And the bottom line is, one doesn't affect me at all because it's made up, and the other one laughs at something that really happened. That's how I justify it. And I don't need to justify it to anybody. One is a low-class, low-life that laughed when I was attacked and said he laughed so hard he fell down on the floor laughing. And he said it 100 times, 50 times, 80 times referenced it. That's why I can turn against somebody, because one person's lies, deceits, half-truths, and total blasphemy is more egregious than what I had with the other person. So you have to balance it out. Scott said it the other day. Don't look at the man and his anger. Look at whether or not what's truthful or not, or something to that effect. So as far as me switching sides, yeah, one person said something more egregious and more detrimental to my well-being and my personification as a human being than the other. So therefore, at this time, I choose to be on the side of the person that was less egregious. Okay? And the fact that somebody laughed that another person was beat up on a live stream, and that he laughed so hard he fell down, and that he thinks it's funny, and that he thinks all the people on his channel that say, well, look at Fazio, his leg smells and his leg is rotten and stuff like that. The other guy did the same thing, but he stopped and the other guy continued. So at some point, you have to make a decision. I made a decision. So the guy who is continually bashing me on his channel, continuously, every day. Last night he did a live stream. He mentioned the great John Blaze, my brother from another mother, and myself, saying that I think if the reference is correct, the three of us, my brother from another mother, myself, and the great John Blaze, can't do what he does in regards to talking to women in a bar. Look how many friends I have. You don't have any friends in that bar, dude. No one likes you. You can tell by their body language. When you went to hug that guy, the guy had a little drool coming out of his mouth. It was almost a gag reflex. When you went and hugged him, there was drool coming out of his, maybe he, I don't know. But I can't talk to a woman in a bar. What am I, shy? Oh, yeah. And the other guy, both of the guys that he gave a hug or tried to hug, they both pulled back. They don't want you hugging them. That's bar talk, they call it, bar talk. I worked in bars, in one bar. In my whole life, I worked in a bar. I've never been in a bar since 2003, since I worked in a bar, ever. Never even one time. I never will go back in a bar. I don't think. But that's bar talk. That's drunk. You can't hear. The music is too loud. You got people that are drunk. You don't know what they're doing. For instance, the guy got drunk and flashed an illegal weapon. He got drunk and flashed an illegal weapon according to Philippines law in the bar. I don't know. I don't think it was a threat, but he showed it. You're not allowed to do that. I carried a gun from 1993 to 2013, a permit, 20 years. And in Florida, you can have a concealed carry permit as long as you don't have a felony conviction for spousal abuse or child molestation. Or there's something else. There was a couple of things that would prevent you from getting a carry permit. Otherwise, in Florida, everybody can carry a gun. Not a big deal. And there's a lot less robberies because of that. So I carried a gun, legally carried a weapon. You could carry an assault knife, like a kind of a knife that's an assault knife, or a dagger, or a blackjack, or a handgun, or you could be in possession of a rifle in your car, loaded. You could go into a store and buy a gun. After you have your initial check, you just go in and buy what you want. You're just like buying shirts off a shelf or underwear. And I never once ever had a problem, ever in my whole time that I carried a gun, because I never did. But if I would have had an argument with somebody and I opened up my jacket like that and flashed the gun, I can go to jail for 3 years for showing them that I had a gun. That's the law in Florida. If you have a weapon, concealed weapons permit, you have to keep it concealed. If you flash it, it's a threat. You lose your license to carry the weapon, and you go to jail. You can go to jail for 3 years. In the Philippines, there's a similar law. I have a work knife right here on my keychain. When I walk around the yard, I carry this keychain with me, and on the keychain is a small little collapsible knife, little blade. The thing is a piece of junk, but if I got to cut a string or something like that, I'm allowed to carry that in my yard or on my property. Or if I went to work, I am allowed to carry it to a job. If a Filipino goes to work, they're allowed to carry it to a job. But you're not allowed to flash it. and as in a bar. You're not allowed to do that. Not allowed. And he broke the law by doing that. There's no doubt that a law was broke. Well, what is going to be his excuse if someone questions him as to why he did that? I was drinking. Oh, so you were drunk and you flashed a weapon, right? The IQ of that man is so low that it might not register. That's how low the IQ on that man is. And I'm not being facetious. There may not be a test to measure his IQ. It might just drop off the scale somewhere, and after that, there is nothing. There's no measurement. I don't know where a low IQ is. I have no idea. I never thought about it. But there might be a test that has a bottom of, like, say, 50, and he falls into below that somewhere. That's how stupid it is to take a knife out and show it in a bar. That's how stupid. That's really stupid. The guy, my brother from another mother, he's not going to let that drop. He's not going to let it go. He's not going to let that go. He's going to push that. He's going to push it. I don't know what he's done so far with that, but he heard it. He saw it. I saw a post up on that. He's not going to let it go. He's going to bring that to whatever level he can bring it. He's not going to stop. He's tenacious. He's relentless. He's my brother from another mother. He's going to go after that guy for that. That is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen on YouTube. JDAL, Jaydalh, or DAHL, JDAL. He posted the law, the Philippines law. If I go to the beach and I have a bolo, I'm okay. If I'm going to go cut some trees down for my property or shade or banana leaves or something like that, you could do that. And if you're bringing, if you're cutting trees or lemon trees in your yard, you could do that. If you're going next door to work with your neighbor and you want to cut some trees down, you could do that. There's a lot of laws here that are crazy. The chainsaw law, for instance. There's a law in the Philippines that you can't import for commercial use, resale, chainsaws. So in other words, if I brought a chainsaw from America, and I did, I bought a 14-inch bar chainsaw. That's not covered in the chainsaw law. The chainsaw law is commercial grade chainsaws that would be used for deforestation. So in other words, there's a 24-inch tree in my backyard. Could I cut it down with a handsaw? Sure, I could. That would be okay. I mean, if I wanted to, but I don't want to. But I can't. And if I have a permit to cut the tree down, but I can't use a chainsaw to go on the beach and cut down coconut trees. I'm not allowed to use a chainsaw to cut down coconut trees. But Filipinos are, if they have a permit, but I can't as a foreigner. That's the chainsaw law. I can't deforest in the Philippines. In America, I cut down 10,000 trees with chainsaws or plowed them down with tobacco or track hoe or bulldozed them, whatever I did, 10,000 trees, no problem. But here I'm not allowed to do that. So, but a chainsaw, a 40 cubic centimeter chainsaw with a 14-inch bar on it, I can use it to cut plywood or cut down a tree on my property or limb a tree. That's no problem. But the law is very specific. I cannot go deforest. Now, do I have chainsaws that will deforest? I have freaking equipment that you wouldn't believe. But that's not, but can I use it on my property? Yes, I have a permit to use any tool I want on my property. Can I use it someplace else? No, I cannot. But as far as a knife, where that man flashed a knife in a public bar where there was alcohol being served, that is against the law. That's against the law. DNC, his IQ. DNC. I don't know about all this. Mike, I didn't watch a single. I watched the initial outburst of the videos where I saw Roberto, Allo, and my brother from another mother posted. I watched Allo's video of the three, and there were a lot of people commenting over there because Allo is my buddy, my pal. Allo's a good man. So I watched his, but I saw three more, and I heard on Allo's comment section that Illuminati is going to post the whole video. Well, I don't need to watch the whole video. I saw it live. I remember the details enough for me. I don't care. I'm not going to report it. I wouldn't get involved with that. But I mean, is it a reportable? I don't know. I mean, you could report anything you want, but I don't know that anybody would get in trouble for it. But what he did was illegal. There's no doubt that's true. He did an illegal thing. But to prove that he did or said something illegal, that's not, or threatening, that's not provable. There was no sound. But even showing the weapon in America, I would lose my carry permit. Even showing it. So that guy, let's see what DNC said. That guy, according to J. Dow, according to the Philippines law, he broke the law. I don't know. If J. Dow copied the law correctly, then he broke the law by having it in his pocket, period. Okay, let's see where DNC is going with this IQ test. Tupperware. God. Here. Here is his IQ test. Oh, God, that's funny. You have to put the square peg in the square hole. That's his IQ test. And the triangle peg in the triangle hole. I remember that. That's funny, DNC. Yeah, you have all the little pieces. Wow. I remember that toy. I had one of those. You have to put the round peg in the round hole and the square peg in the square hole. That was funny. Good ones, DNC. Very good. Thanks for posting that. So, that guy who talks smack about everybody, yeah, and I think you're a paid member on his channel too. Somebody gave you a paid membership. I remember Ignat gave out 5 memberships on his channel about a month ago. I know you didn't pay for it. If you had paid for it, you wouldn't be on my page right now. But I happen to have seen Ignat give out 5 paid memberships for his channel. It was his way of donating 5 donations to his channel. But had anybody I know donated money to him, or anybody I know bought a membership, they don't exist in my universe anymore. Nothing. I don't care how long I've known them. I don't care how much I thought we were friends. Anybody that donates to him or buys a membership, not part of my universe anymore. They moved into another dimension. Yes, and yeah, I remember, Michael. Had you bought the I remember he bought all 5 memberships at the same time. I watched this stuff when I get around to it, but that night I happened to have watched it live. I don't know who else he gave it to, a couple other people. It was a donation, basically. Yeah, I'm telling you now. Oh, yeah? I don't know. I haven't... Since when did Steve 25901, that the guy who... He takes sides, depends on which way the wind blows with him. If he ever comes back on my channel, I'm going to block him for something he said about a week ago. But he won't come back on. And I just haven't gotten around to it yet. When did he start blocking people? Today? I mean, does he put on a show? But he's not going to be... Look. There's some things you could justify. He could justify a lot of stuff. He could have said, look, I paid that bill. You just didn't know I paid the bill. And that would be the end of it. And let's go over to the bartender that I paid the bill to, because he's got to remember who he paid the bill to, right? I paid the bill. Let's go over to the bar. We'll get this straightened out. But he didn't do that. He shut off the sound, and then he showed the knife. Ah, yeah. There was one that he took the show down. I remember that. I only saw a notice. Hey, PA Trucker, thanks for stopping by. We're talking about the infamous Blade Runner. We'll call him the Blade Runner of the Philippines. His last live stream. Yeah, he did say that yesterday. I think my brother from another mother is right about one thing. Well, first of all, what he did was, according to the law that was posted in the chat somewhere on Alo's page, I think it was Alo, he broke the law there for sure. And then, what was that comment? Oh, and when he deadened the sound, when he blacked out the sound, we don't know that. I'm not going to say there was a threat. I won't say that because I didn't hear it. But it doesn't look good. So you'd have to get all those people together, and the barangay captain, possibly the police. And my brother from another mother, he's already out there triangulating, and that's a real word, to get somebody to go to the mobile police department, to go to the bar, which I don't understand why he doesn't just do it himself, actually, because he's perfectly capable of doing that. And then I think he should go, if you want something done bad enough, you ever hear the expression, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. So it's a far distance, but I'm not sure anybody would go through that much trouble to go to his place. So it's up to you, my brother from another mother. It's up, if you want that done, there's no time like the present. And if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And you would be the person that would have the tenacity and the background to do that. I mean, you don't take no for an answer. That's one thing about my brother from another mother. He don't take no for an answer. When he's going for the gusto, he wants all the gusto gone. That's true. But he nailed it. He nailed it yesterday. That it was. My brother from another mother nailed it. I said the same thing in real time, in real life. That he had an argument with his girlfriend. There's no way on earth was he talking to those other two girls. Yes, PA Trucker, I agree. No way on earth is he talking to those other two girls and then muted the mic and then he said goodbye and then disappeared. He was working. He was working that room. He was working that room. And if his girlfriend was watching that video, I think my brother from another mother is right. He's going to be detrimental to their relationship. If their relationship still exists, might not. Because he was talking to those two girls, and then he stopped, and then he went back to that. And I don't think his girlfriend would like that. And first of all, why would his girlfriend be happy that he's in a bar? Is that my friend Dennis Adam? Glasses on? Glasses on. Hold on. Let me read PA Trucker's comments. Everyone else is blocked, said Mike Dowdy last night. He did have a live stream on, but it disappeared. I was sleeping. Hello, Pennsylvania Trucker. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you very much. Live stream, the last live stream ever. LOL. Oh, God, that's the last live stream ever, part 12. I don't know if he left YouTube. He took all his videos down by 7:30 or 8 o'clock last night when I looked to see what was going on. All the videos, channel had no videos, no live streams, no shorts, but he still showed his subscribed channels, who he was subscribed to. He's subscribed to a lot of people, but I don't know. All his videos, uploads, and shorts are gone. Mike Dowdy, PA Trucker. Yeah, it's his. Okay, Mike Dowdy says it's my last live stream ever, part 5,745. I hear you. I understand you, Fazio. He's running scared. He might be. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, look, my brother from another mother, there's a lot of things that he does and speculates on. But he's been saying that he's hiding from something. He's hiding from something. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's even true. But sometimes, this is where my brother from another mother, this is how he's right sometimes. You ever hear the expression, if you throw enough stuff at the wall, some of it sticks? He throws stuff at the wall from every direction for 3 to 5 hours a day, or every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Some of it's going to stick. So, my brother from another mother, when he says he's running, he's running. He broke up with his girlfriend. He's broke. He doesn't own the motorcycle. He doesn't have a license. He doesn't live in Bohol. If you speculate like that on everything, some of that's going to be true. I think some of it's true. I don't know about the running part. Where's he going to run to? He can't run anywhere. He can't. For him, it would be impossible. It would be for a foreigner. For instance, yesterday I was in the bank. I need ID. I hit my ATM. I need my credit card. They'll cancel your credit card or your debit card, then you got to go in the bank. They go in the bank, it raises a red flag. His money doesn't go directly from his Social Security into his pocket. He's got to get that money. If the government wants you, they'll just put a tag on your ATM or your bank. The government will get you if they want you. You can't. So the only way, my brother from another mother, what he didn't say is that the man in question, if you came here with, I don't know, most of us come here with at least 3, 5, 4, 10, 12 million pesos, okay? So if you came here with 5 million pesos, you could theoretically bury it or put it in something and that no one else would know where it is. And then he could go on and run with a backpack full of pesos. But short of that, you're not going to hide. And he's not smart enough to figure out how to get out of the Philippines. Could I get out of the Philippines? Yes, I could. If I wanted to get out of the Philippines, I could get out of the Philippines, no problem. I know how to do it. I have enough money to do it, certainly. But you'd have to go to the bank first. And if you're already wanted, then the bank is going to come up. You're not going to get your money. Okay, so you're going to have money, and you're going to have nautical knowledge. And you buy a jet ski, and you head to another country. And when you get to that other country, you figure out how to get to another country so you get back to America. but you need a passport. So, if you had a new passport that wasn't punched out, you might be able to get away with that. If you got to Vietnam with no stamp on your passport, maybe, but they're gonna flag your passport. You're not getting out of this so easy, this country. They make it hard. When I wanted to leave the country, I had $400 in fees. And you have to get a clearance, you have to have vaccination, double vaccination, you have to have an NBI clearance that you're not wanted. You need a lot of stuff to leave the country legally. And it takes several days. He cannot do it. So you have to buy somebody off. So you're not getting out of this country so easy, and he don't have enough money. What is the range of a jet ski? Oh, shit. Very far. You get a jet ski that holds 18 liters of fuel. You can go about 160 to 170 miles on a smaller jet ski, but you can also take 100 gallons of fuel with you. It's not 100 gallons is not a lot of fuel, so you could you can have 100 gallons of fuel with you. You might, I don't know, you might get 60 miles to the gallon. So if you had 100 gallons, you could go close to 1,000 miles through rough sea, and you could make it to Vietnam with 100 gallons of fuel. It depends on the jet ski. Some jet skis you get 30 miles to the gallon, and some you get 60. And but they also have jet skis that go very fast. They use a lot of fuel. But you can buy a smaller jet ski with a 40-horse Rotax engine in it and get 60 miles to the gallon almost. You know, it's a very small engine. Doesn't go fast, but you could go far. And you could put 100 gallons on it. 100 gallons only weighs 600 pounds, 700 pounds. So the weight of 2 more people, it's no problem. It would be weighted down, but, you know, after your first tank, that's 10 more gallons out the window. That's another 70 pounds. You could do it. Or you could buy a bunker boat and load it up with fuel and head. But you got to have nautical knowledge. But I would do it with a jet ski. I don't want to give them any ideas. No, Scott, sorry. If you get a new jet, I don't know. The last time I got a passport was in 2014. So mine is coming up to get redone. I think. I don't know where the hell I put that. I had it out the other day. I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I never looked at my passport. I only look at it. I remember my passport number, so I don't need it. But I have to show it to them when I go to immigration. You need it for some things. You need to get a driver's license. Now, he didn't get no driver's license without a passport. That's for damn sure. That's 100% sure. Because in order to get a driver's license, you have to have proof of identification. And proof of identification for a foreigner is your passport and your previous driver's license. So, and the only reason you need your previous driver's license is so you can get a 90-day permit to drive in the Philippines. But if you don't have a driver's license, you can come to the Philippines and apply for a driver's license with a passport and an ACR card, and they'll give you a driver's license. But I don't know if they stamp it or not. Good question. I don't care. But you need a passport to get a driver's license, because without that, there is no identification. They don't know who you are. You can have a birth certificate. Means nothing to these people, a birth certificate. Nothing at all. You need a passport at the driver's license place. Unless they changed it, I doubt it. Scott, no. Live in Mindanao. He could. No, he can't live in Mindanao because he needs money for food. And he needs money for cigarettes. That man spends 9,000 pesos a month on cigarettes. You think he's going to be able to live in a jungle without cigarettes? He's not. Well, yeah, maybe you're right about the birth certificate, but it doesn't mean anything by itself. Just by itself is not going to get you a driver's license. You got to have a passport and an ACR card. Maybe I had to show them my birth certificate. I have all of that stuff. Plus, I had an NBI clearance at the time. So, the NBI clearance may have waived my birth certificate because you need a birth certificate to get an NBI clearance. My NBI clearance, I get that every year. I pay $4 every year to get it reinitialized. Yeah, he don't have a driver's license if he doesn't have a passport. He could steal pork out of the jungle. Yeah, okay. The SIGs are a problem. Yeah, he's not gonna. There's no way. So my brother from another mother, he'll have. Oh, what time is it? 1 o'clock? I would imagine he's going to have a show every hour and 43 minutes until he goes to sleep. Just the kind of guy he is. Tenacious fella he is. And I would imagine all the information that's fit to print is going to be on one of his shows today. There'll be interaction between, well, Allo and I think my brother from another mother, I think they've come to an agreement. I think Scott definitely is on the side of my brother from another mother. No doubt about that. Scott went over there and defended him rigidly, didn't leave anybody any slack. So a lot of people are coming around to the man in Bantayan Island. A lot of people are coming around. And now last night, he's not going to be able to justify flashing a weapon to a girl, okay? His life was not being threatened. Even if someone said, well, you got to pay the bill, okay? That's not a life-threatening. You cannot do that. You cannot. That's not allowed. I mean, you have to pay the bill. No, I'm not going to pay the bill. Yes, you're going to pay the bill. No, I'm not. But you can't flash a weapon. Not allowed to do that, man. It's just not possible to do that. And he did it. It doesn't matter why he did it. He flashed the weapon. That's factual. What he said when he flashed it is not factual. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what he said. But the fact that he did it is illegal. Not what he said when he did it. They're nothing, two different things. Any brother from another mother of Michael Thomas Fazio is a friend of mine. A man has got to know his limitations, his boundaries. And you gotta weigh out the pluses and the minuses, the checks and balances on this. One person is, a lot of that stuff is ancient history. And the other person, current. And current, really egregious shit. I really don't need to read comments from some worthless, broke ass troll named Salty saying, yeah, could you imagine what it smells like when you walk past Fazio's house? Really? That guy admitted last week that he's broke. He's on a small pension and he barely has enough money for food. And he's critiquing me? Really? Are you serious, you worthless piece of quasi-human fecal tissue? Are you serious? You critiquing me? What have you ever done? Where is your content? Where is the other guy's content? Where is his content? Telling people where bars are located in Manila by picking out a famous name bar in Manila is not content. I could tell you where the bars are. Well, why would anybody care? Anybody that goes to bars is going to figure out what kind of bar they want. In Alona Beach, I don't know how many bars there are. A lot. Maybe there's 20. Every hotel has a bar, and then there are bars that are just bars on the beach that are part of hotels, but they're on the beach. Then there's bars inland a little bit. And there's bars that have music and bars that have pool tables. People that go to bars, they'll figure out what a good bar is. There used to be Helmet's Bar, that was famous, where McDonald's is now. Helmet's is still open in a different location. It was a filthy, disgusting bar. Everybody in the bar was drunk from morning till night. He opened the bar at 7 o'clock in the morning to serve drinks, closed it at 3:30 at night, and it was the most famous bar in Alona Beach for the whole time that it was open. 5 years that I lived in Alona Beach. You know, it was famous, but it was a bar. I never been in it, but I seen it. But I mean, does that make it famous that the girls play pool in hot pants and they go there for free drinks? Is that what makes a bar famous? Okay. Helmet's was the most famous bar in Alona Beach. Helmet's, a German guy owned it. Nice enough guy. I met him several times on the beach at my friend's bar. Helmet used to hang out at a bar where I lived in a hotel on the beach of Alona Beach. He was a nice enough guy, but he owned a bar. But it was a dump. Everybody was drunk. Everybody smoked cigarettes. Everybody was there to pick up the girls, and it was just a dumpy bar. When I don't go to bars. So, but if you asked me, what's the best bar to go to? At that time, Helmet's Bar. Do I know other bars? Yeah, I know lots of bars. But if you asked me where to go in a bar in the Philippines, I would just say no, I don't know. But I won't tell anybody where to go, because there's nothing good ever came out of a bar. Nothing. Nothing. In your whole life, people that are 50 years old, you've been in 200 bars? Do you have anything good ever happen in a bar? Did you meet the woman of your dreams? Possible to do that. Did you get a business opportunity? It's possible to do that. But the probability is you're going to get bar talk. Bar talk is, I know how to do that. Oh, yeah, I'm an operator. Yeah, I'm a dock builder. Yeah, I can work. And, okay, you know what? Tomorrow you show up at 7 o'clock and I'll give you a job. I need a couple of guys. They don't show up. They show up the next day. Well, why didn't you show up yesterday? I was hungover. Well, you don't have a job. I won't give you a job. You didn't do what you said. Start out wrong, you're going to end up wrong. Okay, PA. So, Mike Dowdy. Scott, I agree. But it's like saying I love the Boston Red Sox. Some things just hurt to admit that. Oh, yeah. That's true. Good one, Mike. Good one. I can tell you where the bars are, and I've never freaking been there. LOL. Yeah. They're all over. Google. Yeah, that I have no reason to go in a bar. I mean, it's not something I do. It's not part of my repertoire. First of all, I get sick if I smell cigarettes, so I don't want to smell cigarettes. And secondly, I need more water. But, yeah. So if that is your claim to fame, that you know where the bars are in Cebu, that's pretty sad. Really, it really is sad. That if your claim to fame is to tell people you know where the bars are, that's not much to be proud of, I'll tell you that right now. Okay, back to the comments. I gotta end this stream. Wow, an hour passed since I said it was 2 hours. Salty's jealous because he don't have a fedora like Mike. Salty. Yeah, that guy is just one negative comment after the other. Notice he has no content. Notice he doesn't show his face. And notice he doesn't show where he lives or anything like that. But he did, in a moment of weakness 2 weeks ago, say, I wish I could donate money to you, but I can't. I'm on a small pension and I barely get by. Something like that. Which is sad, but he's not the wonderful human being that makes 200 comments a day on people's channel. He's a brokester that makes 200 comments a day on people's channel, all derogatory, except for the guy that brandished the knife. So that doesn't say much about him. Mike said that a lot of people turned on him. Well, if it's true that the person he pulled the knife on was a woman, and we don't know that to be true, if that's true, why would you show a woman a knife? Well, for what reason? I don't understand. He's supposed to be the toughest guy on YouTube. But why would you show a woman a knife? Why would you do that? I mean, I don't understand why you would do that. You could do a lot of stuff. I'm not going to pay. Yeah, you're going to pay. I'm not paying. I paid the bill. And that's it. You walk away. You argue with a woman, you're wrong. You fight with a woman, yelling and screaming, no one's going to take your side. Nobody. That's not going to happen. They're always right. They're just, you raise your voice to a woman in a public place, everybody's going to think it's your fault. And he looked like he was getting ready to raise his voice. He likes to talk smack about everybody else, but what he did last night was illegal. Oh, yeah. There's a bar just like that. Yeah, there's a couple of bars that are along the beach. I forget the name of them. But there's a couple of bars like that where they the Birdwatcher bar is, you ask anybody if the Birdwatcher bar is a famous, oh, it's the most famous bar in the, it's all guys. It's all guys. It's all guys. There's no women there at all. Not the bartender. Nobody. There's no women in the Birdwatcher bar. Not working there, not in the bar, not behind the bar. There's no women. It's all guys. So if you think that's a famous bar, there's a lot of guys from all over the world, but that's not my idea of fun. But that's what they'll tell you is a famous bar. It's a famous bar on the beach. I lived there. And even when I lived there, it was all guys. All guys. Never did you see a woman in the bar. If you did, I could tell you one woman that I saw there. The guy who sells the eyeglasses on the beach and wallets on Alona Beach, he had a niece. And I lived in the Birdwatcher bar, room 5, same room number now, next to the pool. And he came up to the bar. I was drinking water. I don't drink alcohol, even then. And he goes, my niece. He don't speak much English. My niece. Okay. You take my niece. You take her. You give me 900 pesos. What are you talking about, dude? You take my niece. You give me 900 pesos. He was selling his niece for 900 pesos. Get the fuck out. Get out of here, dude. So that was it. I just told him to leave and he left. But that was the only girl I ever remember seeing in the bar. And it was outside too. It was all outside in an open area. I don't remember seeing another woman there. Not even the owner's wife. PA Trucker, you didn't miss much. I'm getting ready to close it down anyway. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Looks like we're going to get rain. I could be wrong that it's not going to rain anymore, but it looks like rain. So I'll say Umping Permy for Michael Fazio. And there's me in the Philippines, baby. And you want to go check out my brother from another mother? I'm sure he has, got to have at least 1 or 2 or 3 updates today. For sure, he'll have a couple of updates. And he'll bring you into every aspect of... have a great day. Thanks, Mike. He'll bring you up to speed. And he's still looking to triangulate somebody to go to Paige High, FAZIOS #1. Thank you, Paige. Hey, Paige. Get out. Hey, Paige. My leg. Okay, being that you're a doctor. For 3 years, we tried, 27 medicines. Every 3 to 5 months, we tried a new medicine. October 7th, I got a new culture. Done from the provincial hospital, a new culture. The test was about $60. They came up with a different bacteria than what was from 3 years ago. And you know the wounds were 3 1/4 inches and a 1/4 inch deep. You know that because I sent you pictures. On October 7th or thereabouts. So the culture came back, took a few weeks before I got there. And then on November 7th, they gave me ciprofloxacin, 750 milligram tablets twice a day. But I went to 2 pharmacies and got 2 orders. So I took 3 pills a day for 12 days. And it burnt the infection out of my leg. The infection was gone by November 20th. The infection was gone, and the wound was going down from a 1/4 inch deep. Thank you. 1/4 inch deep. Now it's flush with the skin. The 3 1/4 inch wound is 2 inches or less. The 2 inch wound is 1 1/4 inches or less, and the 1 inch wound is just a scab and scar tissue. And that all happened from November 7th when I started taking the medication, December, January, so that's 8 weeks, 9, 10, 11 weeks. That all happened in 11 weeks. And now the skin is perfectly flush with the wound, and the wounds are 30% of what they were on November 7th. And then I reinfected on last Wednesday, and I started taking the same dosage again this week on Monday, and today is Saturday, and in those 5 days the infection is gone again. I'm going to just finish up this prescription that I have. But thanks for the cheers, the warm wishes on that. But the problem that I have, Paige, is the ciprofloxacin healed it this time, but I took ciprofloxacin a 1.5 years ago and it didn't do anything. So they say the bacteria changed from one type of bacteria to another. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I'm not going to ask you for medical advice. I would never do that. I'm just making a point of what happened. And no one knows what made the infection initialize. And there's a fella here named Mike Dowdy. He had the same wounds on his leg. He had to go in for 21 days for a drip to get rid of his wounds. It took a year. So I didn't go into the hospital, but he did. So that's the end of that. So I'll leave it off on that. Thanks for stopping by, Paige. Appreciate that. If the next time I take a picture or a video, I will send it to CFD. Oh, CFD. Hey, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. And Dennis, thank you. Yeah, CFD. Next time, come early. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes. I'm getting... My voice is starting to break up a little bit. I got a lot of stuff to do this afternoon, too. I got 2 or 3 phone calls to make. Seven gulps, 4 bubbles. If I got that right. Everybody, I'm Big Permy from the Philippines, which means take care always. Bye-bye for now from Michael Fazio. And soon, Daisy May in the Philippines, baby. Bye-bye for now. I'm Big Permy, which means take care always.